Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
I have these shades, you know why? I'll save this gold. Hold
Because
on.
the future's so bright. You got to wear shades.
Nuclear war. The Flash, you have 59.
Oh, yeah. It's good protection. I heard get under the table as well. You remember that in high school? Did they do that in your high school? You're younger than me.
Okay, yeah.
They
So I'm
used to tell
47,
us,
so...
get under the, I'm
yeah,
10
my
years
parents,
older.
they did that too. Oh, yeah.
They told you get under the table.
They
like,
did that
what?
surprisingly long.
It's like a mask for COVID. It's basically the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
that is not working. Getting under the table is so dumb. Like, it's a fucking nuclear blast that annihilates buildings. You're saying getting under my stupid desk with the clamshell? Remember those desks with the clamshell?
It's the only shot. Yeah, that's what my
You kept your
first
books
desk
in
I
there?
had as a kid. It's the only shot we got. Now, I saw Indiana Jones get in a fridge on the...
Yeah, that was a good.
Where was
move.
he, at Trinity? I don't know. He's like a nuclear test, and he got in a fridge.
What
They
the
really
fuck?
made them things back then, you know?
What the fuck? Can you imagine being those guys in like the Manhattan Project when they first do it? They first detonate it, and they're like, "What in the holy fuck?"
Yeah, well, they kind of didn't know what was going to happen, right?
They didn't know. There was a less than zero chance that it would burn up the entire atmosphere of the Earth instantaneously, and all life would be over.
Well, the chance we've got to take.
They took it. They just took it.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
wonder if it was bigger than they thought it was. Like, I wonder what. So, like, no one had ever seen a nuclear explosion before those people did.
aren't
I
they too
wonder if-
close?
Well, they definitely weren't really far away, right?
I know a few of them.
They're watching
People
it
were
from
too close.
Well, the real problem is the area where they did it is radioactive forever. Like they did a bunch of these tests
Yeah.
out in the desert, and then John Wayne and his crew went out
Don
there and all
Genghis
got
Khan.
cancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
my voice is back.
exactly.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah,
And
which
they
is a
didn't know what
terrible
killed-
movie.
It's one of the most amazing because it's cursed from the gate.
Yeah,
And
it's probably cursed by Genghis Khan.
I hope
And
it
if you're
was.
gonna make a bullshit version of one of the most fascinating human beings that has ever lived, a bullshit version of their life, it would be a John Wayne movie from the 1960s.
I look
Was
at
it even the 60s? Was it the 50s?
Is that the original?
Whitewash movie?
Well, not white. No, not whitewashed. But the Jada Pinkett Smith made Cleopatra, where it's like Cleopatra's black and on Netflix, and it was like she clearly sees Cleopatra as her, and it's like a suck up to herself. And John Wayne, I'm sure, was thinking that with Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan was 65.
Yeah, so that's like Jada.
Oh, it says 56. The Conqueror.
Yeah, this is the
Well,
same.
what was the? Hold on. What was the 65 one? Who did that one? Is that John Wayne? No. Oh,
No.
Omar Sharif. Okay.
That's
so
closer.
So
You're
they've
getting
done
closer.
a few of the. Yeah, you're getting a little closer with Omar Sharif. But even then, you should be getting a guy from Mongolia. I mean, if you want me to believe that it's Genghis Khan, you find a guy in Mongolia. There's got to be a guy.
Oh,
that
I
can
don't.
act.
I want
Acting
the-
is not that hard.
I don't want you to believe. I want you to identify with him and see yourself reflected. That's John Wayne wokely wanting to see himself reflected in the story of Genghis Khan.
Do you think so? I think it
all
was
these
a
actors-
giant movie,
Yeah.
and they offered him a shit ton of money, and he's a giant movie
It's not
star.
his project.
And there was only like 5 movie stars back then. Was it John Wayne's project? Personally,
You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Can I take off my Trump one
You can do whatever you
one
want.
piece is really hot. Now I put this on.
You
to
put it on
indicate-
over your clothes, though.
I
That's
put it
the
on
problem.
over my shirt because I want the
Where
great
did you
job
get
so
it?
far.
Where'd you get that thing?
Out there? Every time I come, Jamie has a box of bizarre merch.
Somebody sent us that.
Okay, let me tell you. I put this on to celebrate. I told Jamie because Hawk Tua has been pardoned.
Has
This is
Are you joking?
finally. Julian Assange only took what did it take 20
Wait a
years?
minute. Are you serious or are you joking?
I'm dead serious.
It's not a pardon, but the SEC said no charges.
Same diff.
Okay. So is that because she didn't have anything to do with the crime, or is it because there wasn't a crime? What is it?
There's a crime. I don't think.
But is it a
yeah.
crime? Is it illegal? This is the question with all this like fake money stuff. This is why it's so confusing. If you have these meme coins and people are genuinely making millions of dollars from real meme coins, but it's kind of bullshit. It's kind of a fake money. And anybody can kind of make it and then sell it. Like there's no rules, right? Like you can dump it, right?
Did I tell you my buddy was they make those AI slaves that they stack to make like memes and coins? A lot of these guys live in Puerto Rico or like
What?
Dominican Republic because of taxes. Yeah. So the guys that make those coins, they refer to people who buy those coins as degenerate gamblers
Right.
because that's what they are. So that's all it is. I mean, you could say, why is the stock market less degenerate gambler than that? I guess because I don't know why. Maybe you get backed up on certain investments by the government because there's a little bit more fake regulation. I don't know.
It is kind of crazy that it's based entirely on information and confidence about a company, and it can go up or down depending upon who, like, the CEO gets caught sleeping with, or what new environmental laws.
It sounds like
come out.
magical is what it sounds
It's
like.
crazy. And your whole like in 2008 when everything just crashed, there was this dude who lived next to me. I had a lot next to my house in California, and this guy wanted to build a house. And it was the saddest fucking thing, man, because this was like in 2012 when we were living there. This dude was raking his lawn, and so I went over just to talk to him. There's no house there. And the dude would just like clean up brush and shit. He was like a responsible landowner, and he didn't even have a house on it. And I said, "Are you gonna build here? Because I knew you were gonna build here a while back, but we never heard anything." And he's like, "I lost everything in the crash." He goes, "I saved up all my life working. I had this dream to build this house on this, and the property was really beautiful. It was like on the top of a hill, like looking down on this valley. It would have been an amazing place to like finally die,
Right.
You know, get to the end. This guy was old, man, and he was just like super bummed out, man.
This is
And
a
it's
real
just,
John Steinbeck story you got.
because it's all just based. It's all
Yeah.
just based on like, it's not gold, right? It fluctuates.
Yeah, no.
Companies can go under. The stock market can crash.
Yeah.
The money can disappear. It's like, it's not stable. It's a wild gamble.
Some would call it Babylonian money magic.
But it's so
wouldn't, maybe,
nuts
but
that's what our economy is based on, instead of
Why is
like
that so
actual
nuts?
assets.
what's even crazy about it?
But it's so crazy that you can do the meme coin thing where you can just have like, okay, let's just have almost no rules and just go buck wild and have cock coin trading for, you know, $150 a coin.
It's a bunch of nerds that some of the nerds are smarter than the other nerds,
Yeah.
but they all think they're smarter. They're not. That's how you get tricked, is because on Hawk Tuah Coin, ask CoffeeZilla next time he's here, but I'm pretty sure the people that got scammed thought they were going to get out early. Like they had been sold, and I know this has to be illegal. They were sold the idea that they were the initial, you know, the early bird whatever the hell.
investors. They can't pull the
And they
rug on
weren't.
you.
Yeah, and they
Right.
weren't because they had gotten in on the ground floor. So that's why I think that if I had to guess where the big fraud is,
Right.
but she's like George Foreman with his grill. Like George Foreman didn't make a grill.
Right.
I told you
She's
Howie.
22 years old. That girl probably knows almost nothing
She was
about
jack
the economy.
shit.
I know almost nothing, and she probably knows less than me.
Howie Mandel's son-in-law is the guy behind Hawk Tuah Coin.
What?
I told you last time. His name's DJ something.
Did you?
DJ LA or
So much information when I talk to you. When I get a text message from you, I always take a deep breath.
I know. Well, you
here we
sometimes. Yeah.
What do we got?
By the way, that thing you're saying, were you just describing the market right now?
Yeah.
I was just chuckling like, oh, yes, but Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme. Not that shit. Social Security is the worst. That's the one that we got to tackle, that scheme. Not all the other things, such as what you just described pretty well, I think.
Okay, so what are the big problems with Social Security? Let's lay it out, as seen by Kurt Metzger.
Well, people are going to want it because they paid into it, entitled. So that's a problem I see. Got to get in there. Dude, why are you... Steve Bannon is 100% right. He said it on Jimmy's show about Trump, because Trump said he's not going to touch it. All these pricks on both sides want to cut that out, and then they want to have... You should have the freedom to invest into the stock market or like a 401k. You know the things that sometimes are like Hawk Tuah Coin that don't pay out? Social Security's never missed a payment to anybody. That's probably to a fault, because I'm sure there is fraud because it's never missed a payment. So why don't you go get the fraud out of it, okay? I'm actually like irritated thinking about it because we played Howard Lutnick. Did you ever see that guy, Howard Lutnick? It's Trump's Commerce Secretary, I want to say, talking to, who the hell is he talking to about why, he goes, if my mother-in-law, who's 95, didn't get her Social Security check, she's not going to call and complain. Really? Billionaire guy? Your mother-in-law will be fine.
I did hear someone say that. I saw it
Great-
written down.
great pick, Trump.
I didn't see him say it, but just there's no way to do that right. Like to look at that statement the most charitable way. Do you know people are living barely There's so many people.
Yo.
If you're on Social Security, you're getting a very small amount of money. You're on a very fixed income.
That you're owed.
And if you miss a month, that's a big fucking deal, man.
Yeah.
And you're old, and you don't need that kind of stress in your life. You know, if you're old as fuck, and then all of a sudden your Social Security stops, that's fucking terrifying.
Well, you know what the plan is by these prick oligarchs? What they want is, so first Doge, so just everybody freaking out about Doge, and which you're such a, like, uninformed. Doge is not going to be anything. I got news for everybody. Ask Thomas Mazzi. That guy's who's right. That continuing resolution means everything got funded again until the next time when they're going to do another continuing resolution, because they said last time this is going to be, this is what Massey explains. So everything's funded plus another $6 billion for the Pentagon. So people are freaking out, but there's nothing cut. But you know what I bet they are going to get to? Your entitlements.
Wait a minute.
They'll make sure to cut that.
But they have
not
cut-
Ukraine, not Israel. Oh, God forbid. Or
Well, they haven't
Taiwan,
even
yeah.
started with military. So, but just right now, like the USAID stuff, right? If they definitely have cut a lot.
That's discretionary, so that just means the money's still in the budget, but I don't know, it'll go all to Israel. I have no idea what it means. It's discretionary. It's
Wait
discretionary.
a minute. So that means the programs
means-
are cut, but the money is still allocated somewhere else?
It's still up there in the blob going to whatever. Do you think they really made a Guatemalan gender non-binary musical? No, they didn't. Somebody bought a gun or something. You know, that's what happened.
Of course.
So
Right.
literally no change, and people.
Wasn't it genius, though, to call it USAID? Because you have to be for it.
Well,
It's like Patriot Act.
I think this part should be the crime because it's USA ID, not
Right.
US. But they color the A the same color as the I and the D.
Do they?
Yeah, so you think it's
that's
USAID.
so dirty.
But I didn't know.
Is that really how they do
Yeah,
it?
US.
Oh.
So see the deception on purpose with that.
That's rude.
Yeah,
That's rude.
it's USA ID, not that.
Wow.
More like US AIDS. Am I right? Talk to it.
It says, it's like from the American people, which is like,
It's so
Oh,
tricky.
good. Put my name on the evil shit you do.
That's
Thank
so
you.
tricky because USAID just seems like a great name for a real charitable organization.
Yeah, it sounds
just
like
super
very
charitable.
American. You know why it sounds so America? Because it's called USAID, but it's not for anyone here.
Right, but also you
It's for
have to
other
support all AIDS. Okay, if you're not,
And I
if you're
do.
not even thinking, like no information in the news at all. If someone tells you, "Do you want to cut aid?" You're a good person. You're going to say no. Of course, we don't want to cut aid.
Oh.
This is USAID. They're going to cut USAID. Like, oh my God, where do I sign?
Well, as a
I
guy-
want to
yeah.
stop we need aid. Everyone needs aid.
Okay, but the leaders, see, look, I'm cynical as a guy who's never been in politics. The way these people operate is where they're saying the exact opposite of the thing they just said. That's conscious. They're doing that. They're like, that's the game. You got to just tell a complete lie and go completely back on it.
Well, even just calling it USAID when it's the United States Agency for International Development.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Hey.
What do you guys do?
Well, how about the Patriot Act when it's the U.S. Department of spying on your dick pics in your phone? How about that deception?
How about all of it?
Are we keeping the Patriot Act? I know that. I hope that
Let's
won't be
ramp
touched.
it up. We need a number 3.
We did.
The 2 is just too weak these days
Joe.
with all the cybersecurity risks.
I got great news. Oh, this is my Timber Sycamore shirt.
What is that?
That's the operation where Obama started, to get rid of Assad, install an Al-Qaeda leader in Syria.
Wait a minute. It has a T-shirt?
No, I have a charity called Shirts for Kurtz where I take the names of operations. I go, make me a T-shirt that I will wear around that looks like a band or something. So I got some good. This guy, Fret Pound, his name is, sent this to me. He sent it to the club.
So what are you wearing? Timber Sycamore. Classified weapons supply and training program run by the United States Central Intelligence Agency and supported by the United Kingdom and some Arab intelligence services, including Saudi intelligence.
Yeah.
The aim of the program was to remove Syrian President Bashar al-Assad from power. Launched in 2012 or 2013, it supplied money, weaponry, and training to Syrian opposition groups fighting Syrian government forces
Al-Qaeda.
in the Syrian civil war. There's a lot of Syrians
That's
in
where
there.
we armed Al-Qaeda. So
Yeah.
any guys watching out there, if you got, or gals, you got any limbs blown off guard in a poppy field for a warlord, Al-Qaeda, we installed them. We're back together with them. We're cool again. So
Listen,
you don't have to shoot
they're
them
not
if you see
all
them.
bad guys.
Al
Kurt.
Qaeda?
Cut them some slack.
I like
what did
Al,
I send,
but Qaeda, I'm
what
not
did I
into.
send you something earlier today?
Oh, I didn't look at it. The Sean Ryan thing?
About heroin. This episode is brought to you by Tecovas. You ever wondered if you could pull off a pair of boots? The answer is yes. You just need the right ones. Tecovas crafts quality boots for everyone, from lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers. Handmade with over 200 meticulous steps, they're built for comfort from day one. Whether it's a long day or a big night, Tecovas boots hold up and stand out. No compromises, just damn good boots. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Rogan when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/Rogan. Tecovas.com/Rogan. See site for details. Tecovas. Point your toes west.
I brought to light how we are sending $40 to $87 million to the Taliban for about a year now. It's more than that. I've mentioned it quite a few times, and I've seen the back before the State Department said they accidentally gave them the money.
Yeah.
You know how we left the wrong way and left all our stuff and didn't disable? We thought it was disabled, but it wasn't. Well, that's the lithium triangle that Afghanistan's in. So I'm sure that's part of the deal. We give them all our stuff. Hey, they played a good game. Give them some helicopters. And we can train terrorists there because most of the Islamists came from us or Saudis or Israel or Pakistan, most of them. And we paid them like $100 million out of the State Department. Maybe it was the USAID, I don't know. But a dude who showed me a video of it that he wouldn't text it to me. He was like scared to text it to me. But this guy used to be he had an international press pass. He showed me video of these Taliban guys. They made like a fort out of American money. They made like a way more than a chest-high wall of money.
Jesus Christ.
And so he wouldn't send it to me. But then 2 weeks later, it comes out in the news that they accidentally. So they slipped in that they gave it to them, but they have lithium there because that's the name of the game, right?
I'm gonna send you this Sean Ryan thing, Jamie.
So he's right about that.
Sorry for the long pause earlier. I was trying to figure something out.
So he's right what he's saying, but I'm like, you weren't aware of this earlier, Sean? As a guy that ran a cartel or whatever, that's where he came from. He's in Colombia running a drug network. They don't just let Americans do that unless they're like, come on.
He was openly working for the government, right? When he was doing that?
Oh, you don't think he was selling the drugs on behalf of the government?
But what I don't know what he's even admitted to doing.
It's a Kim.
By the way, I really like this guy. I know you have issues with him. I
don't have any personal issues.
I like
with
him a lot.
Well, I don't have any personal issues.
I think
I don't want to say that he's a killer.
There's guys that get into the military, start working for the government, become agency people, get hired to do jobs all over the world, and I know a bunch of them. And they're some of the most interesting people I've ever met.
100%.
But they don't agree with the way things are being run. And if they've done that and then they step out and then they start talking about it like Sean Ryan, you got to kind of like...
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
That everything you're saying is perfectly reasonable. Now I remember when the guy who blew up his own Tesla outside of Elon's...
Oh, yeah.
He had this like skull and he was like, oh, we just got word that I got this email. And then and all of a sudden, next thing he's in another... And we're not talking about it no more. That's that's very oppy.
Well, it is. But it also could be if you don't... Like, how long has Sean Ryan been doing the show?
I don't know. He came out of nowhere.
One thing that does happen is you get duped. We've been duped before. I've had people on the podcast where I'm like, this guy's kind of a con artist. Like, you get duped. And you get duped with stories. You get duped with people send you stuff that's not real. They send you down these rabbit holes that are stupid. If you're not seasoned in this, and I'm still fucking up all the time. But if you haven't done a lot of these kind of podcasts where you're talking about controversial issues, sometimes you say something that's not totally accurate, or maybe the people that are telling you the information aren't who they say they are. Maybe you're being purposely fed misinformation. It's fucking hard to figure it out sometimes.
It is for me. Now, I'm just saying.
But what was proven about the letter, right? So the dude wrote a letter, correct? Or was it an email? What was it?
He was, who's that guy?
There's some writing that he was talking about.
About how
before he blew
somebody was it? Oh, Iran or China or somebody was. It was like with the drone.
Right.
It was
It's
bizarre.
something to do with the Jersey drone situation, right?
Yeah, which I'm guessing is Palmer Lucky's outfit,
can you-
not China. My guess, Palmer Lucky. That's swarm drones. It's something to see how you deal with it, and nobody cares.
It's
Nobody cares.
hard to trust super smart dudes who wear flip flops on podcasts. I saw him with the flip flops, and I was like,
Well,
"This guy's too crazy."
I trust that he has
he's
some
making
clearance,
drones,
yeah.
and he doesn't even want to have shoes on.
I might be wrong, but I think his initial start, because he went through some bullshit where he was trying to sell the military something kind of like robot truck that puts out fires, which you need.
Crazy.
But they don't want stuff it's the military. Like, we
He
need stuff that
sounds
kills.
like a guy in a Spider-Man comic book that like is a reluctant hero. Like he was a bad guy doing bad things. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
yeah. Like a hacker they caught, and they're like, now you work for us.
it's just like imagine that's your specialty is making awesome weaponry.
Yeah, well, you're going to want to do what you do, I guess.
Right. Like if you're a comic, you want to tell jokes. If you're
Right.
a guy who makes awesome weaponry, you want to fuck around and find out.
I mean, as a comic, you use murder language to talk about it, right?
yes.
Like, this was going to kill.
Yeah, he
This is
crushed
going to
it.
cavitate the back of your head out when I tell you about. Yeah.
God damn, man. It's like
Well, look, I was just
Sean's show. He's had a few people on where I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know about this guy.
I think Joe McMonagle.
But I've had a few people
yeah.
on like that. I've had a few people on where I was like, I don't know about this guy.
I'm not going off because I don't believe anything. I just want to hear a new story that doesn't make me bored because I heard a lot of stories, That's all.
Right.
So what happens then if you tell me something new I haven't heard, I'll remember it because I go, oh, that's interesting. I forget boring things and I remember everything that's interesting to me. So later when I'm looking at news stuff on Sidekicking on Jimmy or whatever, now I have all this. It's just the way you write jokes. Like I could cross-reference. I need as much data as I could get about every single thing,
Right.
So that I can make connections. That's just for joke writing and in any kind of writing. So you have to analyze stuff. So I just go off the old, a tree by its fruits, right? That Bible saying that I think is a correct saying. If I know the truth about certain current events and I'm watching and I know your background that you should know this or that, and maybe you don't though, I allow for that. I'm just saying I've seen a bunch of people. That woman from who was like ISIS is back, and Iran is here, and
Who's that woman?
the CIA lady.
That's a bad impression, by the way. I didn't know who
It's
you were
my-
talking about.
It was my impression of how she was talking about ISIS. So it was when the Tesla truck blew up. I've been making jokes about it, like, because hey guys, ISIS is back, and
Well,
no one
let's-
cares.
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
And what did the guy say? Because let's find
a
that
girl.
note. No, the guy who blew himself up, the Tesla truck.
Oh yeah,
We never got to
Oh,
that.
nice, Jamie.
There it is. It says, first off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 Black Ford Mustang, Black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. We've done this before, Jamie, so we read this all out, and the Mustang's not correct.
I read
That's
that.
part of the problem, right?
That might be a signal, though. They were saying that could just be like a code.
Oh, right.
So that you know
Which
it's
is
really
why
him or
you would
something
say
like
that
Mm-hmm.
in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That would be a way you could. Yeah, that makes sense actually. But why would you do that if this is going to be a public thing?
I don't know that it was meant to be public, but the FBI, I guess, verified that it was from him. They didn't verify the content. They just said, we know that he sent it.
Right. But
Oh.
so who did he send it to?
Look at
There's
this.
this guy named Shoemate, who is a guy who does like an Instagram account that talks about like military stuff, I don't know if he's like a whistleblower officially, but
Okay.
so he had a
By the
big
way,
military account on Instagram.
so this level of bullshit and it was bewildering when I read this was about drones blaming China. Now I remember because I had a joke about did China send the drones because it's all for this. And then he does the Chinese spy balloon bullshit. If a Chinese spy balloon, they made up all these little details after the fact. There's actually an article where military goes, it's more than likely not a spy balloon. It got from mainland China, a big white balloon that says China on it, got over all our bases in the Pacific, which if you look at the map of how many bases we have, it looks like a sex offender registry, okay? All our balloon sensing equipment, I assume, from the trillions of dollars they just lose making our amazing force, got past them to Billings, Montana. No, that was a actual balloon. There was unseasonable. I believe the simpler explanation of the unseasonable winds blew a balloon into Billings, Montana. And that's why Biden didn't shoot it down. We've had this happen many times when those balloons. Then they go, oh, maybe we shot down 2 more balloons that might be UFOs. Remember that bullshit?
Yeah.
And so as soon as you hear all the nonsense coming out, you're like, what is this? So the balloon was just that, a weather balloon. They all know it. Remember, like, Biden, why didn't you shoot down this balloon? It's a spy balloon. Don't you, why? Yeah, he purposely left a spy balloon to spy on us. It's such bullshit. And then
Wait a minute. What do you think the spy balloon was?
a balloon.
But it had electronics on it. It had like.
Oh, okay. Yo, if you look at Zillow, I'm pretty sure it body scans your whole fucking face. You know, like.
Does it?
My
What do
girl
you
likes
mean?
to look at houses on Zillow. Dude, your phone, the way it's used to track you is unbelievable. And amateurs, that's how I'm pretty sure the Bernie and AOC rallies where I'm like, there's no way that many people are going to see these losers.
Well,
There's
that's
no way.
a fact.
But they tracked the phones of the people.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? And then they knew the same people kept going to the same Bernie and AOC concert.
They were going there, and they were also going to Kamala Harris rallies, and they were going to a bunch of other different left-wing protests, and that's a thing.
People get paid to be Democrat.
They get paid. It's a real job.
Yeah.
Like, you can get real money, much more money than you make working at McDonald's, to just show up and grab a sign and get in the stands. And so you can
Oh,
get
yeah.
24,000 people. You know, you have to pay them, but if you do, they'll go, and you can just keep doing that if you have an insane amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what they've been doing for a while,
I mean,
ever
look
since
at-
the Tea
Look
Party.
at the
Or
amount
before.
of money that she spent on that campaign.
She ran a great campaign. You
What
got
was-
to admit that.
It was pretty rock tight. What was the
Every
total?
Diddy suspect. Beyonce, not singing, just talking.
Yeah.
Great commercials reaching out to men. Not going on your show, going on the caller. I think that's Hawk to his mom, Call Her Daddy. Great job, guys. And she lost. The cherry on top of that great campaign.
Well, what was really funny was afterwards they were asking for money after it's over. Like, why didn't you save some?
They did that after Roe v. Wade to Democrats.
Yeah, they did immediately.
Right after.
Immediately. Donate.
Which is like
Donate to the Democratic Party. We're going to protect Roe v. Wade. Like,
screaming about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who always thought Roe v. Wade should be overturned on legal reasons because it's a bad, in her mind, but bad ruling. Katie Couric edits out her real feelings out of the book, you know?
there's really no way other than AI judges. AI judges, AI government. That's the only way.
Well, I don't.
It's the only
Who's going
way.
to program
Human
God?
beings-
Who's going to program that God that I can believe in?
It's gonna
Muslims?
program itself.
It better not be Muslims.
We're going to allow it to program itself.
Oh, well,
And
I
it's
bet you
gonna
that's
just take
something
over.
like that has happened several times.
Well, it's going to happen. I don't know if it has happened. Why do you think it has happened?
Because all these like elite, you know, and they go, oh, who's the secret elite running?
Right.
Well, here's a clue, and I don't know if this is an obvious clue. You know how we still have royalty everywhere? You know, by definition, a bloodline that should be over you that for some reason we're obsessed with. Here in America, where we
Yeah.
rebelled, people fight over Snow White, the Bavarian fairy tale to inculcate you with bloodline shit. And then people are mad at the big head girl that what's her fucking name? That she looks like a mothership alien. The Snow White they got, the Puerto Rican Snow White.
Jesus Christ.
I'm forgetting her name.
Jesus Christ. I did not know where you were going there.
You know,
Yes.
okay.
The young lady.
So when it first
Wait, what's
came,
her name? Rachel?
yeah. So now, if you notice the spin on it, they're putting it all on her. I mean, I'm sure she sucks, but she is very young. How
She's
about
a fucking kid, right?
she didn't write that script though, right? And I don't think she made the no dwarves decisions. That was Sir Peter Dinklage.
Well, that was crazy, right? Like, do you know when they did the original Snow White? I was listening to Cody Tucker on Instagram. He was talking about this. When they did the original version of The Wizard of Oz, they couldn't get dwarves because they'd all been killed by the Nazis. So they had to bring them in to film things.
Wait, okay, hold on. Where did they film this?
God, I want to say, find out where The Wizard of Oz was filmed.
Wait, so the American dwarves were killed by the Nazis? Or
No.
Oh.
They didn't film it in America. They filmed it in like Bavaria, and there was no dwarves.
They didn't want to pay Union dwarves.
The Nazis had killed them all. Like no one talks about that apparently, but that was a thing that they killed all of them.
I find that surprising with their supposed love of
Or Cody
German
just-
folklore that they would attack the luckiest creatures.
or Cody was
Or maybe he's right
incorrect.
I think it's not exactly that way. Hold on though. It's an article in the LA Times. I'm trying.
If the Nazi, like, if they wanted to create a master race, you'd have to imagine that, like, mentally handicapped people, all those they probably have pretty brutal measures for dealing with that.
Well, I know they did because they, as you know, copied them from us where we started that first. That's the Rockefeller.
We started that?
Yeah. Eugenics is from America. It's all the things are from America or England. All the things. You think of Nazis as some like an Al-Qaeda that somebody funded because it worked out for them at the time until it didn't work out. It's like constant gain of function, right? We just gotta
gain of function government.
Yeah, that's what we have.
That's a great line. Gain of function government.
Hey, what if we make it more deadly? Oh no, you guys got to be locked down because we cocked up some virus.
Carol recalled that some of the Munchkins were German-born actors who performed throughout Europe in a midget troupe booked by showman Leo Singer, who arranged to bring them to the United States for filming. The Wizard of Oz allowed the actors to escape as Nazis began to extend their reach across Europe in the late 1930s. Whoa, when did they do The Wizard of Oz?
39, I want to say. I don't know.
Dude, you just reminded me.
They were already killing people.
You just reminded me of something great. No, even okay. So this is one of my favorite historical. So you know how back in the day, Jeffrey Hudson. Do you know about Jeffrey Hudson, the Queen's dwarf in England? So back in the day, wait, let me just see the year here. So 1619 to 1682. He lived kind of long, I guess, for that. Anyway, back then, royalty would collect, dwarves, or if you were like really fat because you had some gland problem. There's a girl in Spain like that, and someone discovered you. Royals would keep you in like a menagerie, like, ooh, a dwarf, and you'd be like her dwarf, like a Paris Hilton dog, Right. So this guy Jeffrey Hudson, I can't remember what Queen is, but for her birthday, they baked him into a pie. I mean, they didn't bake him, but they put him in a pie. Okay, so she was presented with this pie, and he jumps out and then starts dancing on the table, and she loved it. I think he belonged to another noble family. It's like, well, you could have him. So then he became her dwarf, and he had like a little sword, and one of her relatives, he would disguise himself as a poor person and go,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That laugh.
Look at my voice is gone from yelling at hobos. Look at him there, and there he is with the Queen walking him. You got to take care of him,
Jesus Christ.
Probably a better life than a full-size adult back then,
Imagine trying to be a jester back then and walk the line between knowing what's across the line where the king's going to cut your hand off.
Yeah, well, look, if you're this guy and you just jumped out of a pie, the king will let you say all kinds of stuff. It's like a fun roast.
I think the world was way more like Game of Thrones than we tend to believe.
He based it on history. He based all that stuff on real history. Probably the dragon part. Sorry, Joy Behar.
I wonder about the dragon part.
Well, wait. So this dude, one of her relatives or something, he stayed with them, and the guy would pretend to be a poor person in the street, and he would bring Jeffrey with him, okay, and then do like an act, and like he would sit down, and he would have he would have like a big loaf of bread, and then he would make him into a sandwich. That's one of his.
Jesus Christ, dude.
He would have them in his pocket, and then he would get out bread, and then he would climb in and make a sandwich, and people loved it. I mean, I love it just thinking about it.
I went down a dragon rabbit hole the other day on YouTube.
Okay, there's the last thing, though, and this is important. That little guy,
yeah.
So he started getting a big head, okay? And
oh, no.
Yeah, like how the classic, like Howard Stern whack pack kind of development, right? And he had, and he got captured by pirates. He has a crazy life, but he had a little sword, like they made him a sword for himself, and somebody said something to Queen, and he challenged him to a duel. This guy, okay, they had pistols back then. It was like the single shot pistol duel, and so the guy brought a water gun. The other guy was like, "I'm gonna fight the Queen's dwarf," and he brought a real gun because he came to he came for the fate. He came and shot the guy with the real gun. The other guy had a squirt gun that he shot.
Oh my God!
Because he had put him not. And I'll bet Jeffrey Hudson was like, "Oh, I'm glad I killed you, motherfucker. You brought a squirt gun on top of it." Like that's a guy really not taking you seriously to your duel. If he brought a water pistol, you think like my little fingers can't pull a trigger? That's how I would take it.
The finals are here, and the only thing that's for sure is it's the last time to bet on college basketball this season. Get in on all the action, expected and unexpected, with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination as we reach the finals. First time? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code ROGAN. That's code ROGAN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Well, that's how stupid people were back then. He had completely dismissed that guy in every way, to the point where he didn't even think he would be able to shoot him.
It's
like how stupid is that?
It's cruel, because that's like a kind of a cruel thing where you're like,
you want to squirt him in the face and everybody laughs.
Like, okay, dude, the guy's treating it like the queen's little dog. He might have said something to that effect or something. Okay, but even a dog, you would be like, come on, as a dog, don't be like antagonizing the dog. So even if this guy's not affording humanity to Jeffrey Hudson, you know, like by standards of a dog, he wasn't being cool. You know what I mean? Like
right.
he was being like a cruel, you know, it's a pompous aristocrat. That's how they are. They don't think it can happen to them.
Let me get this straight. Did they use dwarves in Snow White, but they just didn't call them dwarves? Is that what it was?
So dwarfs
so they had...
and dwarves are two different things.
What?
Yes, I've
No
learned
way.
this. I learned
It's not a plural?
Researching for this podcast, I learned no.
Dwarves is not plural?
Right. So dwarfs, I don't know which one is which, I forget, but one is the fantasy kind, which are magical creatures and not human beings.
Right.
And the other kind, one is Tolkien came up with it.
One is dwarf
And
and
he
one is dwarf.
Dwarf, the plural, dwarfs.
Is that it, Jamie? Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
F is dwarfs is mythical folklore.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. And then to tell one time, he goes, do you know about dwarves, the war midget?
That's what they were in The Hobbit.
Hold on now.
But he's talking about dwarfs.
I'm looking. Yeah, no. I mean, what your dwarf is? It says it's folklore according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, so I don't know which one's which, but dwarves
It's
plural.
the
Why?
same,
But
no,
wait,
dwarfs is
why would it
plural
be
for
the
dwarf.
same-
Yeah, I don't think there's.
There's also dwarfs with an F. I swear to God.
Well, there's dwarfism.
No, dwarfs.
Right, but how crazy is it that there's a folklore
show you what I'm
version?
looking at.
Did
This is
they
what
have
pops up.
magic
believe AI.
powers?
I'm not.
I know.
Did the folklore versions have magic powers, or were they just dwarves?
I imagine that they're probably based on the real life people that they then magicked up because, and my evidence is like Snow White itself. And
It says this type of supernatural being in Germanic folklore. Accounts of dwarves vary significantly throughout
Dwarfs
history.
with an F.
Dwarfs vary significantly throughout history. They are commonly, but not exclusively, presented as living in the mountains or stones and being skilled craftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And only males. So dwarfs with an F is the fantasy one.
Okay.
And they're
so
all men.
dwarfs are all a bunch of gay guys.
Yeah.
Little tiny gay guys hanging out.
Well, they
waiting for that
originally
lady
were.
to show up.
It was like 7 non-binaries or something.
But here's the question: for the new movie, what did they do? Did they? Because what I had heard was that they CGI'd things in there.
Yeah, look at them. Look how bad it looks.
Can I see what it looks like? Oh, you fucking pop up. Is there a video?
A lot of people make videos about why the CGI seems worse than when it first came out, and that's because these studios are working people. Disney's notorious. Disney's one of the worst
Get a video,
companies that ever
Jamie, so I
existed.
can see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like.
It might be a big reveal. They might have to save it for the theater.
It's kind of sucks that a kid gets put into the position like that where they're talking about politics and talking about.
Look, if you put your kids in auditions, you are trafficking your children, so you know.
Oh, wow, that does look bad. Oh, it doesn't look real at all.
Yeah, and then like they do all the work while she dances around being a leader or whatever. The script was
Wait a
screwed
minute,
from
how
the
much
start.
did this cost? They should get doged looking at this movie. They spent $250 million bucks making that movie. But imagine you spend $250 million and you get some young girl and you don't kind of talk to her about like, hey, don't get political. You're young. And I know you have opinions about things, but should be just about the movie.
Well,
Let's just
to defend Big Head Girl, let me tell you something. The message of the movie is to be that bitch. That's the message that they wrote a script that's telling girls, I don't need nobody tells me I'm a 20-year-old girl, so obviously I should run my mouth all the time. That's the theme of the new Snow White.
No, really?
Yes. Now
It's not the same story?
no. So now they've put it all on her. Now that it failed, here's what happened. She made the cardinal error of saying free Palestine on Twitter. So she could say all that men are bad and it's this and that, but once you do that, now they've put the entire weight of the failure upon her. When really, it's like making Jimmy Fallon apologize for doing a Chris Rock impression when Lauren and a team of lawyers and consultants decided if it was okay, the amount of brown they put on him to simulate Chris Rock.
Right.
You think Jimmy Fallon made that call? But he's got to sit there and apologize to a white... Robin DiAngelo comes on. I'm not watching this. Am I dreaming? And he's like, he's clearly drunk and I don't blame him. And he's like, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. She goes, you see Jimmy, this weird nun lady is like giving him a lecture.
Did you ever see her in that Matt Walsh movie? Did you see Am I Racist?
No.
It's fucking hilarious.
I know about, we put her in Prez Trek, the thing I did made with Kyle, the Star Trek of Biden.
In Am I Racist, Matt Walsh, didn't he get her to give someone money for reparations? Didn't that happen? Did you see the movie?
No, but I saw.
He's a fake academic who's talking to her, and he's like a fake woke guy with like a fake ponytail, and he gets her to say the most ridiculous shit. It's so funny
because her money depends on it. And he said something interesting. I saw him talking about, which is the reason. Because why would these people sit here and he used to say about the Daily Show? Why would they sit there and be on the thing? And he goes, "Oh, they're aware, but they want the plug. Do you understand? Their demographic wants to see them be stupid, and they're going to defend them no matter what. So it don't matter.
What are you talking about?
The why they would sit there and be part of that.
She didn't have any idea that that's what it was.
But even like
she thought she was doing. They were doing some kind of a documentary on race from like a woke perspective.
Well,
like, I don't think.
Look at what he says about it.
I would have to ask him like what the premise was that he set up.
The other lady, the lady with the colored hair that he kept asking about. That was What Is a Woman, not the
yeah,
the
that's
race
a
one.
totally different
But
documentary.
I think it's the same thing. Because I saw this on Sasha's show, like an absurd situation. If these people are like, my job is I'm this thing,
right?
They automatically go into it. It's funny to make her follow her own stupid thing like that, but she's like, she benefits by, even if she looks dumb in it, anyone that believes in that stuff is not going to fault her in that seat. You know what I mean? They're not going to look at it and say it's funny. They're going to go, what a jerk you are to put her in that position of having to live up to the thing she says she thinks is real. That's why Kamala couldn't be here, because you're going to just ask her, oh, I want to get to know her. We can't, that's not allowed. That is not going to happen. The people that liked her, they like her because she never said anything. They find that savvy and smart to never let people know what you think, because that's how they advanced in their careers, because the whole thing is the ultimate pyramid scheme is cowardice and turning a blind eye at all times.
Yeah, but therein lies the problem. Because after a while, the person, no matter who they are, whatever job you're in, if they treat you like you're the boss, you start to think you know what the fuck you're doing. And she was treated like she was the boss for, many, many years. And during that time, some people got her to say some crazy shit. Like when she was talking about certain things where she really didn't have information about it.
Wait,
and she would
who's
just
this?
ramble in circles. Kamala.
Oh, do you mean when she described what's happening in Ukraine?
Exactly.
So basically, Russia's a large.
Ukraine is a
small
country. Yeah, like what?
Oh, it's the Ukraine. Remember how they say it's Ukraine and not the Ukraine?
Is it the Ukraine?
Yeah, it means the borderlands. So that's some marketing crap where we don't want people thinking it's just the borderlands. This is a legit thing.
But I always wondered with Kamala Harris, like I've seen her talk before and she's hilarious. I think some people just fucking clam up when they get in front of a camera and when they know the whole world's watching and they know there's a lot of pressure, and if they fucked up a bunch of times before. Like, to be good at public speaking under pressure, you have to have a lot of reps in. You got to do it a long time.
She's running for president?
I understand.
Wendy Williams would have been better.
I understand.
She has charisma, Wendy Williams.
But I always wonder, like, what is important about being a president?
Power.
Is it the ability to communicate, or is it the ability to rationally assess what needs to be done and what sacrifices have to be made and what's the right direction for everything to go in? That's the most important
I'll tell you what it is.
But
it's the ability to...
But I'm
yeah.
getting to it.
Oh.
But it's weird how much we rely on charisma and likability and there's like the ability to form sentences in an eloquent manner. That's impressive. Even though that's only one aspect of what it would be. Like, the most important aspect of being a president, I would think, would be rational, be able to make decisions that are very difficult, know the correct direction, and be selfless. Right? You're
Right.
doing this for the country. That's the best version that we could think of as a president.
That's what you have to look like, but what you have to be good at is looking like you're that. All those things.
Yeah.
And take orders from the people who are in charge of you. That's how it's run ever since they killed Kennedy, but probably before then.
Well, I think that was true. I think when
That's
they
the
killed
coup.
Kennedy.
You know the deep state term?
Yeah.
Peter Dale Scott, he's a leftist Berkeley professor.
What is this fucking thing that I keep hearing that there's a video of Lee Harvey Oswald?
Oh, Luna. That's that chick Luna said it.
She said that there was a video of Lee Harvey
NBC
Oswald.
has
that
it.
NBC has it.
Where he's like in front of the car or
And
something.
did Oliver Stone tell her this? That's what I read that on X. I don't know
I
if
didn't
that's
hear
true.
that. Look, if true, it's explosive. You know, I sent Jamie a video.
But
about,
how could it possibly be true? That seems like one of those things where why would NBC hold on to that?
I ain't seen that Dave, what's his name, Grush guy around. All these people have these
What?
amazing
He's
if
busy.
trues.
He's got a life.
He's running
He doesn't
skits.
have to be on TV all day. What is
No, but
who told
what's
her?
going on with that?
Who told? Well, it's one thing at a time. I'm wrangling. One thing at a time. The Lee Harvey Oswald thing. Like, who told her that Lee Harvey Oswald is in this video that's been hidden from the public? Somebody said it was Oliver North, who, by the way,
Wait,
or excuse me,
Stone?
Oliver
Oh,
Stone. Oliver North.
It's a great
I had a fucking Freudian. Somebody said it was Oliver Stone, who's got the craziest fucking recall, dude. The craziest recall.
Yeah.
I had conversations with him off the air where he was explaining to me deeper and deeper into the fucking connection.
Yeah.
There was all the different people that were after Kennedy and all the different group and all the different things.
It's quite a lot.
He's got it in his fucking head, dude. That guy's head is a warehouse of information about the
Looking
JFK
for it,
assassination.
I think they're referring to this photo that people said has already been debunked as the guy that.
Yeah, I thought that was debunked a long time ago.
Yeah, so that's
Let me
what-
see that photo. Blow that shit up again. That guy does not look like Lee Harvey Oswald. Look at him on the right-hand side. You can see it. That is a different shaped face. That's like a totally different dude.
If there's something different than this, I don't know. But this
First
is
of
like-
all, didn't every guy who was white in 1963 look like that? They had they had one fucking haircut. They all wore the same
A
shirts.
nice high and tight.
We were
very
basically
Chinese
the
back then.
Chinese.
Yeah, that was very Chinese.
We
Wait,
were basically like
we had
South
the North
Korea.
The North Korean success
Yeah.
cut that Kim Jong Un has was our boys.
Yeah, she said Oliver Stone. Luna said Oliver Stone, who directed JFK, said he's seen a secondary copy of the film and that NBC has been sitting on it.
Oh, okay. So wait,
Yeah,
so
but that
someone's
doesn't-
muddying the waters
yeah,
already.
that
Wait,
doesn't mean that.
you know about her?
Do I know about her?
where
She's
she
the
came
lady
from?
that's in charge of like distributing the all the UFO stuff, right? And she's gonna JFK stuff, all that shit, right?
So this is very strange. She's from Florida. She ran against I forget his name, but I sent Jamie the video of this. This is one of the nuttiest things. The Republican she was running against in Florida in a primary was caught on tape talking about having her killed if she does well and is about to get elected.
Oh Jesus!
Just someone I know I had heard of them or some influencer. William
Is
Braddock.
this it?
Okay, now I can't
William
find.
Braddock threatens to send Russian-Ukrainian hit squad after rival for Florida GOP primary.
Okay, but they say
Really?
Russian. Okay, that's actually less weird than some of the other stuff he says, and they don't mention it. So play his recording. Now he got prosecuted, so this is not him just bragging, I guess.
Let me hear this.
In front of everyone. One of my previous brothers, a billionaire, who's going to actually. We're bringing in over $500 million from offshore, from Malta and Gibraltar, to fund my campaign. Even though my campaign only needs $1 million to hit the primary and another 5 or 6 for the midterm, we're bringing in $500 million because they understand how fucking serious it is to keep our country intact.
Wow.
And with that kind of money, I'm going to have 24/7 2 former Secret Service officers up my ass unless I'm taking a shit in the morning. And I don't want to hear this. I don't want to know about this, but we have access to a hit squad too. Ukrainians and Russians.
Hit squad, not hip hop.
Damn.
Jesus.
You did not
Bad captions. You did not hear that from me.
I hear what?
She's recording him.
But this shit is getting deep. And I don't want you to be on the wrong side of it.
I don't want to be on the wrong side of it either. So why would we need? I guess that's.
Oh no, you're not going to be. I mean, you're not going to be a part of it regardless. But I'm just saying, don't get caught in public like supporting Luna, because the Luna supporters are going. Luna's going to go down, and I hope it's by yourself.
Is that why? I mean, I don't. Is that what the Russians are for? That's like.
If we do my poll.
That's the worst question I've ever heard in my life.
Polling people.
Keep them on the line. Just keep them on the line.
$20,000 for a poll
Yeah.
right before the primary. And if the poll says Luna's going to win, she's going to be gone. She's going to disappear.
Dang.
Dang.
And you cannot tell anybody.
You can't tell anybody I'm going to
would
have
never
someone
tell
killed.
anybody.
Imagine.
Oh,
How
dang, I
well
would
does
never.
this... Hold up, please. Pause for a second. How well does this dude know that lady? And by the way, why is he breathing so quick? That dude sounds like he's cranked out of his fucking mind. You hear the...
Well, you heard him say his Freemason brothers, so that means he is.
He's cranked out of his
That
mind.
means he parties.
That guy's partying right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is cocaine talk. This isn't real.
100%.
This is cocaine talk, right?
Well, it's not just that. It is that, but also he got arrested and prosecuted.
Well, you can't have cocaine talk on the fucking
he
phone.
ran away to the Philippines, and that's a pretty dark connection too.
Hold on. Keep going. I want to hear more of what he says. But it sounds like cocaine talk.
Yeah, they all get coked up.
Yeah. And you say wild shit.
Sacrifice the what?
The few. For the better of the good of the majority of the people, we've got to sacrifice the few.
Dude, did you hear that?
He's out of his mind.
So.
No. Wait, pause that.
Yeah.
So
we
he
gotta
is
sacrifice
high.
the few.
You're 100% right about that.
Yeah. No, he believes that though.
That's his Freemason brothers are bringing money from Malta and Gibraltar.
Can we pause 1 second? Who is he saying this to? What is the woman's name?
Aaron something.
Can you get a photo of this lady? I bet she's hot.
I can't.
Which is part of the
I
problem.
can either play this and show you guys the screen, or I can do
Oh, play
could be
it.
switched at
Just
the same
finish
time.
it.
Let's just get a
Yeah.
photo real quick
Oh.
so I can get a context. I just want to put it in context because I'm trying to figure out why this guy is blabbing to this lady that he doesn't know really well. I would think if you're going to have someone killed, you wouldn't tell like regular friends. You wouldn't tell like casual friends. Like, how well does this guy know this lady?
What does
And is he
cocaine
trying
make you
to-
do? Cocaine makes
Is
you
he trying
confide
to
in people.
impress her?
Yes.
Yes, it does. It does. Is he trying to impress her, and is she attractive? And like,
yes, that's a good question. I thought,
you know what I mean?
I wondered that
Because
as
like,
well.
there's guys that'll just make up stories about. There we go.
Yeah, he liked it, yeah.
She's pretty. There we go. Exactly. Okay. So it's cocaine talk to a pretty lady trying to impress her with your power.
That's good enough for the CIA to spy and get that talk and use it as intel, by the way, generally, isn't it?
So here's the other question. How
Look at
does
him.
this...
just
Yeah,
pointing-
he's a dork. He's a coked up dork, and she's hot, and this is the first time a hot lady's talked to this coked up dork. Allegedly. He may not have been on cocaine. He might just have been nervous. Maybe he's just really attracted to this lady, and it's adrenaline. Or maybe he drank a lot of coffee.
It just sounds like...
It sounds like coke talk.
Well, because all the you probably shouldn't talk about your Freemason brothers and their... A Russian-Ukrainian hit squad. Wow, that's cool of them to get past their differences.
Yeah, they coordinated. They coordinated just for this one special project because Captain Cocaine
Okay,
got to
but
put a hit out on some lady.
he is connected to something, I think. He wouldn't have run to the Philippines where these kind of people run to. He wouldn't have...
So is he running from the law right now?
No, he's going back to court. They probably you have to go to
catch him?
jail. Freeman's brother like, we can't get you out of this, idiot. You got coked up and talked to a horse. You know, Gilene's got to do her time and keep her trap shut. This guy's going to have to do that too. But William Braddock, I'm like, okay, who is he? He must be from a family from there. I couldn't find anything, but maybe I just sucked at it. But where was his bio? Who is he? Who's his dad? Who's his?
Imagine you're just talking shit and you think you're a badass. And you're gonna say cool shit to this girl on the phone, and you find out you're being recorded while you're on cocaine, and you planned to hit. You might have woke up in the morning with a splitting headache. Doesn't even remember being on the phone saying he was planning a hit. Wakes up, he's paranoid.
She's a nurse.
A nurse.
She's involved in the COVID stuff. I can't.
Yes.
Find out
Oh, she. Yes.
She is.
She's.
And why she was talking to him.
They're calling her a conservative activist. No, she was talking about some real shit. She was good. The thing she was talking about with that.
What was it?
I can't remember. I don't.
Like what they were talking. She was reporting from the hospitals, I guess, when COVID was starting in Florida.
There's so
she did good work
many
on that.
of
Yes,
these like James O'Keefe type videos now.
I love it.
And it's all the same thing. It's all really chatty gay guys who spill the beans when they're on a date.
On paper, they look like they're going to be good employees, don't they?
And occasionally a man who's saying stupid shit to a woman who's undercover.
Well, sometimes it'll be a guy that I thought was that, but no, he was a straight guy.
What do you mean?
The straight guys and gay guys in those circles are imperceptible. Harry Sisson came out as straight recently. That kid with the rosy cheeks that Tim Dillon had on.
Yes. Tim Dillon had him on his show?
Exposed him as shills. They came out and said they're being paid. And they're like, no, cut that. Do you remember that? It was really funny.
What? No, let me see that. I didn't watch that.
Yeah, Tim Dillon exposed. I remember seeing it.
Jamie? You listen to
Ads keep
Mexican
popping up
music.
sometimes when I
Fine work by Tim Dillon with these guys. But anyway, I thought the kid with him was his boyfriend. No. He's been pressuring girls for Snapchat nudes.
Oh, no.
Yes, it turns out this kid rules.
So Tim Dillon had him on. What are they talking about?
all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
can't
where's
play
the
any of
part
it?
where he
I
exposed?
don't know.
Okay, we won't play
you
it.
see his head in his hands? You just hit on it. We put his, it's right around there.
Propaganda level. It's disgusting.
Well, there's a lot of people that would say that the American government, for a very, very long time, has been very dishonest with its citizens. This is something that...
Can you give me an example?
You little twit.
That was stupid. I'm gonna stop. Just stop.
Wait, oh, is that not it?
Well, of course it happens, but like,
But what I'm...
Is there a clip of just him exposing them?
like 45 seconds to record a video, keeping
Right.
people's attention.
Oh.
And a lot of the people on our side, like if they start hearing, like I've actually done it before. I've criticized like Democrats, like specifically Hakeem Jeffries, and it all just went south. Like I started losing followers. Like it's bad, right? And I really want to be that person that like reaches the other side, because Democrats, I mean, they're horrible at their jobs, right? They do a lot of shitty things, although I'll vote for them all the time.
Look at Harry.
But it's also hard in the space to criticize
That's a
them.
good... Can we clip that quote? They're horrible
Please
at their
don't.
jobs. They do
Please
shitty
don't.
things.
Please don't clip
for
that.
them.
Please, no.
By
Please
the
don't
way,
clip
I
it.
would say the same. I would say the same thing.
I thought those was his boyfriend.
Here's what that is. That's a young man that really wants to be important.
Yeah.
And really wants to be special and really wants to be on the right side of history, and he's young. And he really
No,
needs
not
to
right
go to the
side of
gym,
history.
and he should start eating meat again, and he should start doing squats, and you need to do deadlifts, and you should probably like run up hills. You need to do something,
Dude,
to turn you into a man. Son.
his whole getting pussy is based on not doing that. So when
I'm
guys
telling
look like
you,
they're gay,
but it's a bad strategy.
oh, I agree with you. I agree. You don't have to convince me. Just first of all, never mind getting pussy. Just do that
He's just a
for your
young
life.
kid. If I was him, I'd be saying the same shit. You're young. You say dumb shit.
Well, what's
And
David Frum's excuse?
But that statement right there was the perfect example to say
That's America.
how bad they are, but I'll always vote for them. That's so bonkers.
Dude, people in their 60s
But
say that.
But that's because he's a kid.
But
That's
old
just a
people,
kid.
The View says the same thing.
Right, but there's a certain percentage of people that are going to buy meme coins. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain percentage of people that are they're not, they're
Well,
not
how about
going to
this?
make it.
He said it just now.
Yeah.
If your money depends on you being that way, you're going to be that way. So that's a business.
It does become eventually that, but he's so young. It's not like he calculated his personality based on making money politically online.
That's exactly what he just said to Tim. He goes, yeah, I've tried. I mean, they suck, but my audience
Right.
gets mad, so I can't.
Right. But it's a lot of it is like when you're fucking, what is he, 21 or something like that? When you're 21, it's like total audience capture.
Money and clout.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Well,
you've got success doing this one thing, and now that's your whole
when
identity.
is it not? Like, if you go independent, see, because I've heard people, that throw around audience capture. Like, I'm sure you've heard that nonsense at you. They definitely say it at Jimmy, but I can tell you, No, Jimmy's a real hard-headed dude that his audience gets pissed at him all because now we're criticizing Trump for the ways he's cocking up. So
Yeah, Jimmy is not. Jimmy's not idealistic. He's not. He doesn't have an ideology. Rather, he's
he has
very
principles.
very
So-
open-minded.
Yeah, so these people's principles are
very fair. Very fair.
He's the only guy I know who's a leftist, okay? And I think you should get to identify what you are.
Yeah.
Like your gender, you should get to say what you are.
Yeah.
But the video when Kyle Rittenhouse came out where Shane Gillis apologized like a man though. But a lot of my friends, oh no, he's going away. He crossed state lines. What does that mean?
Right.
With a gun, but you don't say the part, but your brain finishes it, right?
Right.
But watch the video. You can watch the video and see exactly what happened. Every part of the night of every character in the story. There's no mystery as to who was at fault and whatever.
Right.
So all you gotta do is look at that. That shouldn't even have been a case.
Right.
People, I told you my ex, she's such a blue no matter who dipshit. She goes, I don't need to see the footage.
Oh, that's crazy.
I go, what am I, Galileo? Look in the telescope,
the
bitch.
story that's even more fucked up is the people that he was protecting were, I believe,
Indian
they were
immigrants.
Indian immigrants
That
who were
white
his
kids,
friends.
yes, white kids had burned down
Yes.
Indian immigrants' property because they were mad about a black man being shot by a cop.
So
Who,
they
by the
asked
way,
him to
should have
help
been
them.
shot. Jacob Blake was kidnapping 2 kids and going for a knife in his car, probably trying to get shot. He had just had a fight with that chick he had a restraining order with. And if you've ever been in a bad relationship, you know how Ragnarok it could get, right?
Ragnarok.
And people do death by cop all the time.
Yes, they
and
do.
that's what that. And then the governor, I found out when I played Kenosha, that governor, whatever, went and he kicked off the riot by saying, "Oh, we think the cop shot him." He just said something really
Jesus
irresponsible
Christ.
that they would take you off the air for saying if it caused this, right?
Right.
But that was the agenda to make that. We all know BLM was a scam, right? And all the money went to a fat bitch. We all know that, right? I don't have to educate anybody. All the things you think are real are not real.
Didn't she? There was an article about her losing one of her houses in the fire. I was like, one of them. How many did you get? She got 3.
Did you even give Hamas any of the money you promised?
Did you see when they used that AI program to run this net of all the different NGOs that were contributing to democratic causes?
You showed me last time, my rabbi, Richard Grove, who sent me Tragedy and Hope, a book that gives you the skeleton of what the conspiracy is, okay? It's written by Carol Quigley. Somebody on the show I know has brought it up. John Corbett brought it up on Jimmy's show.
Okay.
It's Bill Clinton's mentor wrote it. He was not against
What's it called again?
Tragedy and Hope, and it's about the Anglo-American world power and how World War I, England brought us back into the fold, they called it. Cecil Rhodes, the father, guy who came up with apartheid. And De Beers, you've always heard De Beers was they were
Diamonds.
Well, he bought their name as him. It's him. It's Cecil
Really?
Rhodes. Yeah. Cecil
Same
Rhodes.
guy?
Yeah. Cecil
Same
Rhodes.
guy who started apartheid also
in the
started De
book.
Beers?
No. He took it over, but used the
bought.
name De Beers. But it was Cecil Rhodes.
So,
had
he
all-
bought it?
And then he at Oxford, somebody gave a speech about how England should, do the things we do now, neoliberal bullshit all over the world. And so he was so inspired so he said, the first concentration camp, there's pictures in the book. Looks just like concentration camps from Germany. There's the Boer War. If you ever see The King's Man, the prequel to Kingsman,
Right.
one of the prequels or something,
Right.
they show it in the beginning. There's black and white people in there, so that's nice. It's diverse. That was England that did that. Okay, and that's Cecil Rhodes. And Cecil Rhodes created the Cecil Rhodes Round Tables. And he based it on the Jesuits, the Bavarian Illuminati, the Freemasons. His idea was circles within circles. Like that map of Atlantis, right? And so we have the outer, like that dickhead who was saying Freemason shit, they should have never let him into wherever they let him into.
He's got a big mouth.
He's like any other gangster. They want to brag about their connections.
They want to show up in that Cadillac.
And I don't condemn. Please snitch.
Like Goodfellas,
Please,
remember?
everyone snitch. Please. I'm here for you. I want to hear the stories. This shit don't stop until you snitch. It is not going to stop until you tell on your group and stop covering up for them. If it's your country, don't cover up for your country. I know people would do that. I know you accuse me of being secretly religious, but
I was kidding.
Well, I'm openly this. Jehovah's Witnesses, now they told me God was going to kill all of you by like 20 years ago, so it's awkward now for me, obviously. But
People don't know you grew up Jehovah's Witness.
yeah, I mean, I bring it up every time.
Well, people who don't know you.
I know.
I mean, this is standalone.
I assume you have all the back knowledge on me with the viewer at home, and I don't think of the audience.
A lot of people don't. You know, you have you were a long time ago. You were getting real upset about a lot of this woke shit, and I remember you saying this. No, I've fucking seen this before. This is the same shit I saw in the Jehovah's Witness. This is the same shit before. And I remember being like one of the first times I was like genuinely alarmed about how really crazy ideas can spread. And really just outrageous behavior can become normalized.
The second part of that is it's reminding me of that, but without the love and forgiveness of if you believed in Jesus. So they took the only good thing out of it, and kept the just what is this? Sounds like dogma, but it's like you're gonna. If you have a problem, like so let's say something's not living up to what it should, and you said this was the solution to everything, but let's say there's something really bad you know about, like someone got molested, and you don't go to the cops, you handle it in-house, which is what they did and got sued for. The highest settlement in American history, not the Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, because they did what everybody does. They Epstein file, hide the files, handle it in-house. This could look bad. If you saw what I saw, you wouldn't release it either. All that bullshit. So don't tell me you're the one organization from God and you did that. And like people ought to be kicked out for that. Because all the Bible stories I got taught, God would strike you with leprosy for that shit. You know? And I'm the kind of chump that believes in the thing if I believe in it. So I'm a kind of poison for your group. Because when you don't live up to it, I'm going to be a real twat about it. You know?
But that's important.
Well, no, it's actually crazy. And is that the hill you want to die on? Here, let me use all the corpo fucking... I've heard this from people I like, not bad people. Something's wrong. And you point it out, and they go, is that the hill you want to die on? And I'm like, am I going to be killed for telling the truth? Well, why would I be?
That's that team shit.
Yeah.
That's that team shit. Our team is going to cover this up. Our team's not going to pay attention to that. That's what it is.
It's not like jiu-jitsu and stand-up where it's one man.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing is a dumb pursuit of being on the right side when we should all be on one fucking side. It should be one giant group of people figuring out what makes the most sense. It's not supposed to be us versus them.
Well, that's too vague. That's too vague, though.
It's not too vague. If it's not too vague for you and I, it's not too vague for the whole country. We just have to change the way we talk about it.
What if what makes the most sense to me is eugenics? What if that makes the most... Because I'm telling you right now, these people have never given up on eugenics. And I'm very happy that technology is going to fix dwarfism one day, okay? And you won't have to do what Hitler did to the dwarves.
We're all going to look like Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine being a Jewish dwarf?
It's going to be just Chris Hemsworths and Jason Momoas all throughout the land. There'll be no other body type.
The Nordic space brothers that people see. You think they're Nordic?
The tall whites?
No, the tall whites are a different thing.
What do you mean?
They're tall. They're white.
Wait a minute. How many are there?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
Wait a minute, the tall whites and the Nordics are different?
People mistake them, but they are different. Now, I'm telling you lore. I don't know what's real, but Charles Hall's tall whites are not the same. He called them the Nordics. He called them the Norwegians with 23 teeth.
What? 23 teeth? How many do we have?
32.
Oh, so they have less teeth?
I guess.
Probably from eating mushy food all those years.
You know.
Their jaw shrunk.
But calling them Nordic is... assuming that this isn't complete bullshit, which let's face it probably is, but let's say it's not bullshit. I don't think they are Nordic. I think they're fucking German, and I think they're doing a little. If they are real, this all white blonde society. That dude, I always call him Jazz Jabroni, but his name's Jason Giorgiani. He said something really interesting about what are these stories of. This is like a fifth dimensional race screwing around. Their architecture's like pyramids and brutalism. They're always wearing the same outfits. They haven't evolved from anything, right?
Right. Why are they in uniform?
So and you've heard this before about the time travel aspect, right? Because if you did have those kind of things, which I don't know if they have or not, that is automatic. He's right about 100%. That's time dilation. That means you have a time machine. So let's say, here's a silly story that the German acorn, that bell thing, the Glocke that nobody knew about until the 70s, and that.
What are you talking about?
They found that German bell-shaped. Where they had like mercury plasma rotation to try to make it levitate.
Oh, yeah. That? What was that?
Die Glocke.
Pull that up, Jamie, so I can refresh my mind.
Die Glocke.
So what do you mean? You think that
I don't know.
These tall whites were actually Germans?
the Nordics.
Or the Nordics.
The
They were
Nordics.
actually Germans?
Yeah, let's
like,
say.
you think they were actually like Nazi scientists or something?
No, remember those camps where they bred people to make?
What?
You don't remember the Nazis had camps of blonde chicks to breed Aryans to encourage it?
I missed that chapter.
Really?
Let me check this out.
That's
Hold
like
on.
the sexiest part of the.
That's real? This Nazi bell?
Yes.
Have we covered this before?
No, it is
Jamie?
real, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily it was a working UFO.
yeah,
I'm not in no way claiming it. I'm just saying this is stuff people know about already.
I vaguely remember talking about this.
But let's say they mastered something akin to that, okay? Okay, just vaguely. And then you send them to planet Aldebaran or whatever they call it, which is how many millions of light years away. If you could go to that planet at faster than light, then you have now gone into the past, right? Because these are relative positions. So now you're 50 million years ahead of us, even though you came out of us. And if you want to come back, right, the way this would work is you could fly back to like Mars or the Earth 50 million years because the distances we're talking about, there has to be like time travel involved. And then let's say you had that kind of control. Hey, why don't I put my DNA and stuff and make it in my own image, remake all of it? And then you cock it up, and then you do the cycle over and over again, like Jason Jabroni didn't make that up. That's where I go. Oh, this sounds like Samsara. Some rich assholes make a breakaway civilization, try to remake the world their image. It cocks up like an Atlantis myth of some kind, and the record keeps playing.
Maybe intelligent beings just consistently fuck up because they keep pushing the boundaries of their abilities and their intelligence, no matter how smart they are. And even, like we do stupid shit in other countries. We fuck around with, installing
Act
new
like
leaders.
God, pretend you're God.
But just think of what we do in other countries. Now imagine you're taking it to so many levels of intelligence and ability far beyond what we have, and you come here, you would cock up these monkeys.
Yes.
You would definitely do it. You would think you were in the right to do it.
And then you'd blame the monkeys. You'd blame them. You'd go, oh, it's because you were bad.
Well, we would just say, look, the odds of them making it to an intergalactic society within the next 5 to 10 million years is very low. And here's if that theory is correct. Look, chimpanzees are still around. They are our distant cousins, and they didn't fucking change.
Right.
They're exactly the same. And then there was a whole ton of different versions of us that didn't fucking make it either. The whole it seems like.
Well, you know what evolution is. See, this is another thing. Jehovah's Witnesses. We had a book called "How Did Life Get Here?" by evolution or by creation. Okay, which was against evolution. That's a false. That's not what evolution is. Okay, I didn't know that till later. I'm not saying whether anything's true or not. I'm just telling you I was told the wrong thing. It doesn't. Evolution isn't about if there's a God who created it or not. Evolution is change over time.
Right.
It's the origin of species, not of all life in the universe, just of speciation.
Well, Brett Weinstein, have you ever heard him talk about it on this podcast? He has a fascinating theory. He's like, because he was talking about how, I shouldn't say it's a theory, and I shouldn't even say it's his. It's just like there's an understanding of what evolution is, that there's a missing element. And there's some sort of missing force that we haven't recognized yet. And that would account for why some changes are so rapid. And because you have two things, right? You have natural selection, and then you have random mutation, right? This is what's supposed to create all the. He thinks there's an additional force they haven't recognized yet.
Of course.
And the thing about us is whatever additional force that was so much more impactful, bizarrely so, where we can do. There's not even an animal that's remotely close to us.
Yeah, right.
There's no animals that are making bows and arrows yet, right? It's just us, and everything else is way behind. Whereas every other kind of organization or organism rather on Earth is in like a tight-knit struggle with all the things around it to balance out the population. Except for us. We seem unnatural. We do. We seem like we popped up too quick, like we're adolescent and we're just wild and we haven't figured out what the fuck we are yet. We don't fall into nature the way all the other animals do. We change nature around us, create our own environment, which is a completely alien thing on the scale of what we do and compared to every other. Or every other organism on Earth can't do that. So if you
but there's invasive species.
But if
though.
you did. That's what we might be. But if you did cock up a whole planet with your DNA and stick it into some ancient human, some Australopithecus or something, and create a person, this is probably how it would turn out.
Well, think of that story of because all the algorithm of if is a UFO or God's bastard angels, sons, Nephilim.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe that,
But,
right? Like
okay,
these are
think of that
aliens and demons.
I go by themes.
Right, right.
So, it's like when Twilight came out as a teen romance, you're like, yo, that guy's like 300, and that chick's only 17.
I know, it's so
what
creepy.
the fuck is this shit?
The ultimate pedophile movie.
So, Nephilim, or Nephil, I don't know how you say it, but like for an angel in that story, I'm just saying within the lore of the story, I'm not saying anything's true or not. Think of how perverse that is. It's a cross between pedophilia and bestiality, basically, that they committed.
Right, because they're thousands of years old and they're from another planet and they bred with the humans.
So that the crime of that, it's so degenerate. Like what you can see is
don't you think that's like an allegory?
No, I'm saying the themes scale up and down.
Right.
So that's why Matt, if you talk, like Duncan, I always talk to about this kind of stuff because he knows all these like creepy ass magic people. And he's like really like a nice person and
he's just interested in a lot of things, man.
Well, listen, I'm interested in a lot of things and I'll watch some of these people, okay, because I want to know things and I'm real quickly aware of if you're telling me anything interesting or if you're just doing some aesthetic presentation because you like the rock and roll aspect, which by the way is the biggest piece of shit aspect of the whole thing. That like
rock and roll Satanism? Is that what you're saying?
Just like America. The thing where people are like, oh, everybody hates pedophiles, right? I mean, there's pedophile hunters, amateur. All the music, it wasn't just R. Kelly, all the music that you like, those guys, if any of the stuff they did happened now and they knew about it, like like Bowie was banging a 13-year-old that later Iggy Pop passed around Iggy Pop. Like, that's just normal shit they did. You know that, right?
No.
Dude, it's all in their own books. They write. Don't you remember you write confessional books and when it was cool to say the crimes you've done in life? And it became not cool.
I never read any of those books.
Well, I didn't either.
Did you ever read it? Jamie didn't know it either. Did you just crack open your second White Claw?
No, there's a 3 Claw podcast. Those books, and I'm going to start reading. I haven't started yet.
We started with vampires. I don't remember.
Well, the perversion of that. So there's this theme in everything, science fiction, where somebody did something, and for some reason, it's my fault for being born. And then the thing how you're describing all these adolescent kind of species that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sick of the blame being. If they had to train people with kindergarten because not enough people wanted to pull the trigger in war, that's a fact. That's how we got our school system. Was a Prussian emperor going, they're wasting bullets because they don't want to kill people. We got to get them younger, so we have killers for the army and workers and good school people.
Well, they were getting people too late, right?
So that means our natural thing is not really. See, they always put it like your scumbag leaders start blowing people up. And it's like, when are we going to learn? Asshole, everybody that voted for Trump wanted him to not be doing what he's doing now. One thing is good is all MAGA people are calling it out, and good for them. People don't want this shit anymore. So somebody
You're talking
else,
about like the bombings in Yemen?
Yeah, and then you got to hear how humans are an immature species. No, somebody is on purpose, probably our leaders, probably wealthy eugenicists, if you want to get spacey, probably transdimensional trillionaires who transitioned out of having a soul and now cannot transition back. So everything's a scam to trick you. Hey, why don't you astral project out of your body, get out of your body for a little bit? Like get you out of your car so I could take it? I look at all these things like CoffeeZilla scams. So the alien shit where they made a deal with the aliens, that's like a Nigerian prince scam, you know? Like Ukraine is a Nigerian prince scam to me. An old man got a letter, please, be my friend in Christ, I am the rightful ruler of Ukraine. And he just gives all your money. Grandpa, don't give Ukraine all the money. I got to help the rightful president of Ukraine. You could scale that up to every story, and it's always the same thing, some trickery, like a crypto scam. And then the aliens aren't what they said at first. They're doing bad stuff. These are just themes. Didn't you have Diana Pasolka on here?
Yes.
I don't know if she said this term on here or I saw her on another thing, but she called them myth themes. Almost like I interpret it as like Legos that you build the stories. It's like so many stories.
Right.
The Bible training was good for me because most of our stories are like just variations on Bible stories.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all programming. And I'm not saying that because it's bad. I'm saying human nature is programmability. And all these stories that you have, and depending on like if you're Eastern, Dracula, Catholic, Orthodox, they're really big on the symbol programming.
But isn't that the most fascinating aspect of us?
Yes.
Is the programmability.
Who gave these priests, these corrupt priest class, the codes to work us? Because the pharaohs, for example, in Egypt, if you look at their society, there's a guy named Mark Windows that he had Wallace. He did a thing about this Wallace Budge book called Egyptian Black Magic from 1910. Wallace Budge apparently is like the real Indiana Jones, like some guy adventurer archaeologist. So he wrote all about it. So I haven't read the book. Malice has a copy of it, but this guy, it might be his interpretation, Mark Windows, or it might be in the book. But it's a society ruled by OCD. You know, because it's magic. The leaders are like the least powerful ones at the end of the day. They're like performers. They go out with their stupid headdress. They're being inbred by a priest class like dogs or like Dune, right? And they go, you've got to prepare, and they're doing homework for their afterlife. So in the Book of the Dead, it's like then you get to the riverboat man and you must say how many oars you see and if there's 2 oars. And it sounds like the Three Amigos Finding El Guapo, like shoot your gun and the singing Bushman. Well, it's like bullshit. And they spend all their day just planning to die, okay? Akhenaten, the guy that they hated because they said he was like monotheist. I don't think he was. I think he was doging their system because they had so many priests and gods getting so much aid money, I guess, that it was getting ridiculous. And I bet this guy was like, look, the sun's the main representative of the thing. Let's just slim down our operation because this is crazy. And that deep state of Egypt didn't like that. And that's why, you know what I mean? Like, I bet you it's some shit like that. I think of it, all these things in those terms. Or the Dalai Lama priests. But
wait a minute. There's no fucking deep state if you're running an empire. If you're like the Roman emperor.
Yes, there was.
What kind of deep state is there?
Yeah, they were all in the Mithra cult.
But the thing about the deep state is like the idea of it in this country is that leaders come and go, but these people always remain.
They're not the top leaders. The shadow government's the top leaders.
In secret societies and in secret intelligence agencies, at the very top, there's people, regardless of who's the president, they're running the show, they're in charge of everything. But that didn't exist with like
it's the
ancient
history,
Romans.
Yeah, the history. I think the history.
Do you think that that's how it was with ancient Romans?
100%. Mystery schools.
But
do you know what a mystery school is?
Okay.
Freemasons are in mysteries. All of these secret societies.
So there's always like some sort of a secret society that constantly influences leaders.
Here's one: the Triumvirate. Remember Caesar and
Scroll
Pompey?
up a little, Jamie, so I can read the headline. 10 surprising things about the deep state, starting with the Roman Emperor Caligula. Wow.
Wait,
some basic truths that never go away. A former dean at the University of Maryland School of Public Policy explains. So they had a deep state?
It's the oldest thing there is.
Same sort of thing.
It's
right?
priest and king versus kings, fascists versus perverts.
Wow, the Roman emperor surrounded himself with a hand-picked Praetorian guard to keep him safe. However, elite members of the guard knifed him in a corridor of what was the White House of its day. Counting on the fealty of even the closest experts isn't always a good bet. Wow.
Yeah, you got to play the game. Wait, but you know
there was people trying to assassinate everybody back then.
But
it's also.
Do you know this? Julius Caesar and Pompey and the other guy, the Triumvirate it was called, where the 3 of them divided up Rome among themselves? You've heard of that, right?
Look at this. Hold this here. Ancient Chinese emperors discovered they couldn't rule effectively without nonpartisan experts. Long before Caligula met his end, the emperors established a civil service filled with the experts who had passed an incredibly rigorous exam.
Yeah,
Researchers have called it the examination system from hell, which included, among other things, memorizing 400,000 characters of a Confucian text. Cheating on the exam was discouraged. Anyone caught looking on the paper of the person sitting nearby was executed.
That's discouraging.
Well, that sounds like the right way to do it. That's a great idea. Like, make sure that anybody who's going to do that has to go through a crazy rigorous exam. Like, why don't they have that? When you see people that are like Congress people, they're like, how did that fucking kook get in office?
His family's involved and they're connected, and it's giving a favor job.
How about that lady that dresses like a character in a Muppets movie?
Who?
You know that one lady with the blue hair and the crazy glasses? She doesn't even look like a real person.
Not the purple hair witch lady.
Yeah, the witch lady.
Oh, yeah. Where's she from? Connecticut
I
or
don't
something?
know. But that kind of person.
If you're that old dressing like that, she looks like a mom whose son gets molested by Michael Jackson, and she didn't know. That's what she looks like.
There's no way she's passing that rigorous exam. Like, a rigorous exam would be a great idea.
They don't even read the bills they sign.
They don't have to read
Thomas
anything.
Massey reads them.
Yeah.
Dude, Trump going after him is one of the worst. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to forget.
But wasn't there a thing that was, There's like been multiple versions of bills that got passed where it's not physically possible to read the entire bill within the amount of time they were given.
Oh, that's not grounds to not believe in the entire government, just that alone.
But isn't that true? Like, aren't some of them, like, what is
They do it all the time.
But let's find out. What is the longest bill that's ever been passed? Like, how many pages? Let's just imagine, and let's try to find out what the. Now, imagine also these people are Congress people, so they have very rigorous schedules. You know, they're fucking busy as shit all day long.
Yeah, fundraising,
and they're doing a lot of that too. And then they have to read how many pages?
Well, then they got a trip to Israel with their AIPAC coach.
5,593 pages. The Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, the longest bill ever passed by Congress. The act was signed into law by President Trump on December 27, 2020. As you can imagine, the act contains a variety of provisions, including $1.4 trillion appropriations package to fund the government through September 30th, 2021, and a long-awaited COVID-19 relief package in the amount of $900 billion.
Yeah,
this
that
update.
was...
Now, here's the thing about the COVID relief stuff. Was that loans? Like, how does that work? Like,
it was the biggest upward transfer of wealth in the history of humanity.
It was.
They should have never signed it. Massey was against it.
You could see, like, the amount of money people lost and the amount of money people gained, and it's the exact same amount of money.
You know what's the great thing about America?
It's like 3.6 trillion, 3.9 trillion. It just goes right.
This is what I like about America, probably the most. Because, you know, in Australia, they punked out to lockdown fascist shit because, you know why? The government paid their bills.
Also, they don't have any guns.
And they gave up their guns a long time ago like suckers. But here, because they don't even want you to have Social Security that you paid into, they're doing everything to get rid of that. Medicare for all, that's not for you. That's for other countries that we give your money to.
Did you see what Elon discovered about Social Security?
What?
Did you see if you can find it, Jamie? About the number of illegal aliens who are receiving Social Security, and
we'll kick them off.
But there's like a scam to it all. This is part of the incentivization. This is how you incentivize people to vote for your party. If you can allow these people to vote, and this is part of the scam. If you've got them in the Social Security system, they're getting Medicaid, they're getting food stamps, or whatever they're getting. As soon as you can label them, they were talking about. This one doctor, we had a video that we played where she was explaining how she was being encouraged to ask questions like, do you have a backache? Do you have headaches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have permanent disability.
You might need to transition. That's what they do. Your head hurt, you're trans.
Do they try to transition immigrants? I heard that was true, but then I said that's too ridiculous.
You don't have to try. Everybody wants it. It's safe, effective. It's as great as a COVID booster.
I heard
do
it's
it
reversible.
Today. Really?
They can make you a dong out of your leg. They take a big chunk of meat out of your leg and make you a new dong.
Yeah, somebody already did that.
Wait, were we just Googling, Jamie? Yeah.
Well, yeah, nobody wants fraud, okay? But what they don't want is that the government... And look, maybe it's a terrible idea the government does anything. I'm sure it's better to have a corporation the size of a government do it with no constitution and I have no rights with. That's a good idea. And I have an automated response, like an AI telling me if my insurance comes through or not. I'm sure that's better.
Yeah, that's better.
Luigi Mangione didn't feel like that, they say.
I can't find it. Yeah, the free Luigi thing was really crazy.
But if because America treats its own kids like garbage... That's the saving grace. So the next lockdown or bullshit, they've already lost during lockdowns, there ain't nothing to do but look into shit is how I looked at it, you know? And I know a lot of ex-cons that know a lot more current events than me because they were locked down and just got informed.
That is when you got deep. But also you started working with Jimmy Dore. As soon as you started working with Jimmy Dore, you immediately...
Well, first Barry, but he told me Jimmy was a good dude. I didn't know
Barry
Jimmy.
Crimmins, yeah.
And Barry, the things he used to tell me about, you know, by the way, sanctuary cities... That's a Republican thing. You know that, right? I think that's Reagan. The concept of a sanctuary city was Reagan. Because as the great Bernie Sanders sometimes and then not said, that is a Koch brothers proposition, open borders, right? But then the Democrats suddenly hate open borders after they were all like, no, we got to have borders. And then the people that they wind up with their programming are still running around driving their fat scooters into Teslas like it matters.
But those are the same people that I was talking about earlier. Those Tesla protesters, They're the same people that join cults. They're the same people that
don't know Democrats mostly
Yeah.
own Teslas.
They're the
Idiot.
same people that are getting paid to go to the rallies. There's a certain underclass of really fucking dumb people out there that you can exploit. And you can get them to do a lot of shit, man. And
I would say the government employees are that.
but
Look,
if you're hiring them
Yeah.
all the time for protests, they're essentially government employees that are just designed to perform propaganda. If you're using government money and you're paying people to go to a rally and you're giving them signs and you're making them cheer and you're giving them money and food.
So I found this is an article on the Daily Mail, but they're discussing what he said at the Wisconsin rally this week, I think, about Social Security and illegal aliens.
Okay, it says lawfully present non-citizens of the United States who meet all eligibility requirements can qualify for Social Security benefits. The SSA website states this rule also applies to non-citizens authorized to work in the United States who got a Social Security number after December of 2003.
well, did they pay into it or no?
I don't know what. Let me finish this. Still clips the explanation and other portions of the Wisconsin event quickly went viral on Musk's social media app X as users cheered the fraud-finding effort. It's absolutely infuriating. One user wrote in response, I hate when they do that, like post people's tweets.
Yeah.
One user said, like, stop. Biden and team, you're forming a narrative. There's a lot of users.
Well, look.
Biden and team were bringing in millions of immigrants and putting them on benefits. Another user wrote, reacting to the SSA numbers. I know Elon keeps saying it was for votes, but that can't be the only reason.
They're correct. Our military, people joining the military is all-time low. I sent you that Dick Durbin talking about we need new cops who don't want the money that old cops got. We need new workers like at Purdue where they fired citizens from a government program to bring in asylum seekers and pay them less. It's always about lowering your pay. Every single goddamn thing is we got to be competitive.
It says people sometimes, this is Musk saying, people sometimes think that under the Biden administration, he was simply asleep with the switch. They weren't asleep
That's
at
correct.
the switch. It was a massive,
Yes.
large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape, the 53-year-old entrepreneur shared. Another user reacted on X. Okay.
He's right, but it's
He's
not
right.
just that. It's not just that.
Okay.
To add this, there's another article I was going to bring up. They said that these claims are being claimed, but then they've like asked for evidence, and they haven't.
Which
received
claims exactly?
Entitlements, fraud here specifically. Like he brought it up on this podcast.
Right. It says in an interview with us, okay,
And it says,
single
like-
biggest thing they're worried about is Doge going to turn off fraudulent payments of entitlements. Okay. It says this lacks evidence. Unauthorized immigrants
almost
are
like
not
this.
eligible for most safety net benefits. And there's no evidence to suggest
I
they're
don't know
committing
if that's
fraud
true
en
or
masse
not.
to obtain them. But hold on, it's not fraud. If you ask people if
Right.
they have headaches and then you give them permanent Social Security, or you ask them if they have bad backs, who the fuck that's 40 doesn't have a bad back? All you have to do is say your back hurts, and bam. If they were really encouraging people to do that, and they really are giving them Social Security numbers, why are you doing that?
Okay, it's
You
not
would-
just
but you're not
Biden,
doing it
yeah.
because you're super nice. You're not doing it because you're super.
I'll tell you
kind.
why.
You're doing it because you want them to vote for you.
So you know
right?
MS-13, right? It's not just voting. Those gangs, MS-13 is now gone from El Salvador. It's and it's in America only. America's a surveillance state. How do you not know you have these people? What I'm worried about here is I'm all for taking the unauthorized people off, show the evidence, obviously. But here's the problem. MS-13, you know those people they just deported? All them people they rounded up, they're getting, what do you call it, collateral damage that I don't agree with and I think is pretty fucked up. That gay hairdresser you brought up,
Yes.
we played the clip. He's
Yeah.
not in Trinidad. They just had a crown. So when you make,
he had a
yeah.
crown for his mom and a crown for his dad.
There's a soccer player who was fleeing who got tortured by the Maduro government, who I thought all the conservatives don't like because he's a commie. And that guy came here after towing water for the CIA, basically. It was how I look at it. And because he had a soccer ball with a crown, they threw him on the thing. Never mind the girl, the PhD student, who wrote an op-ed about Gaza and got deported for supporting Hamas. That's crazy.
Yeah, what was the op-ed? Did you read it?
No, but you can write an op-ed. It could have been something really bad.
No, but it was criticizing Israel, right, for their actions.
Oh, that's what she did? I'm sorry.
in
That's
Gaza.
bad. She should be deported. My bad. She's a guest.
No, but
you
I
don't get
mean-
to have our rights just because you are here.
But that's a crazy thing to deport someone for. To like, if you're talking about like horrific damage, horrific. You could see it on video. Like, how could criticizing that? How could you not be allowed to have a perspective on something that's like clearly horrific? Like, how could you not be allowed?
Because it doesn't help our team.
But was what she said, did she support Hamas in that paper,
No.
or did she just condemn Israel and their attacks?
I don't remember her ever supporting Hamas in the paper. I know
Did you
she
read
said
it, though? This is the
Palestinians.
question.
No, but let's say she goes, hey, Hamas, let's say this was in the paper. She goes, you know who supported Hamas? Bibi Milkowski, Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel for 20 years. You know how I gave up on Hamas in 2006?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they're no good. Well, Bibi thought it was a good strategy to prop them up to fight the West Bank Palestinians so that they could never have a two-party state from that treaty that they agreed to but never intended to keep. So that's your fault, motherfucker. This girl supported Hamas? Not as much as the Prime Minister of Israel did she? With millions of your tax dollars that we send to them for their great game theory-based strategy. Somebody goes, do you understand game theory?
Who said that to you?
A comic I like, Avi. You know,
Don't say his name.
I like the guy.
Such
no,
a crazy thing to
Look,
say.
I'm not against Israel existing or any of this bullshit that people
Of
make
course
up.
not.
And I'm not anti-Semitic. First of all, I get a lot of anti-Semitism at me. I remember talking about on stage, I'm like, oh, because your nose? Somebody said from the audience, like, yeah, that's probably. If I wear glasses, it looks like my eyebrows and nose were included with my glasses. Do you understand? So if they I get it, if they round up Jews, I'll be just like one of these Venezuelans that's not in a gang, and I'll be sent to spare Guantanamo, which is what El Salvador is. Again, Venezuelan gangs. Not going to Venezuela, where they're from. You're sending them to the MS-13 prison that, you know, I was worried at first hearing about it because I'm like, what if you get the wrong person? That's my concern.
That's the number one concern.
But luckily, these geniuses have all tattooed MS-13 on their fucking head. So if the gangs ever learn not to do that, we're fucked. If they learn not to tattoo their dumb shit gang symbol on their face, we won't be able to catch them.
Well, that's the only way you can trust a guy.
It's
got to wear the colors.
And you know what's so funny about the gang shit? I mean, first of all, I believe 100% CIA and whoever in coordination with whatever dumb group made those gangs in America. Because the drive-by shootings, the Capone era kind of thing,
Yeah.
the blacks were not doing that until after Vietnam. The guys coming back from Vietnam were bringing tactics, guerrilla tactics to the hood. You could see it in the
Really?
document. Yeah, there's a bunch of documentaries about it. So it's people come back from Vietnam, if you notice.
But what about like Al Capone and all that type of shit?
Well, they had Tommy guns and cars, and I don't know. I don't even know how much they did
Didn't
that.
they do drive-bys?
Yes, but I'm talking about black gangs. Black gangs. They got flooded with guns, Chinese guns, a lot of them,
Right.
and crack. And right around the same time, private prisons were coming into really getting to be a thing. Then gangster. Then why'd the rap suddenly turn from like hippity hop hippity to like, you know, gangsta?
Right.
And the guys doing the rapping, Ice Cube, he talks about this, and he's like, "Well, we're poor kids who don't know anything, right?"
Right.
So I understand that. But then you realize the guy that owns, he said to on Bill Maher's fucking thing, the guy that owns the record company also controlling shares of a private prison. And they're like, give us more of that drug gangster stuff. Now, the drug stuff is because they were on purpose, obviously, putting crack in the hood. Like all those conspiracy theorist Hotep guys told us. They're like, well, it doesn't mean you have to do it, right? That's the clever response to that. But they did it on purpose. That's pretty fucked up.
What do you mean it doesn't mean you have to do it? You mean...
A comic used to have a joke about it. Like, okay, let's say CIA did put crack in the hood. Does that mean you have to do it?
Oh, right.
Which is a real kind of like, you're not from there and you don't know shit what you're talking about.
Have you ever seen Freeway Ricky talk about it?
Yes, and of course the CIA worked with him. Some dirtbag Cuban.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Rick, now a prison guard, uses his name to sell crime to kids. But Freeway Rick Ross went to prison. Okay?
Yeah.
So, by the way, that cartel, the Mena, Arkansas cartel, run by Bill Clinton, I believe, 100%. It's in Kathy O'Brien's book. Maybe people thought Kathy O'Brien's book was far-fetched when it came out in the 90s, but I would go back and I got an Audible. Go back and listen to it because it's amazing how much of this stuff correlates to stuff right now. So they brought all that in the hood on purpose to finance the Contras, who Ben Shapiro will tell you were the good guys, but they were not. They were scumbags. Barry Crimmins used to always tell me about this stuff, and I go, who cares about Nicaragua in the 80s, dude? Reagan's dead. That's how I thought about it because I'm dumb. I'm slow, dude. I'm not smart. I'm slow. It took years for it to dawn on me what he was talking about was 100% relevant, and since I've been on Jimmy's show, and the few good reporters that are left in the universe, I'll see their stuff, you know? Aramate and Max Blumenthal, by the way, both Jews, not anti-Semitic, do great reporting. And they don't, and people call them conspiracy theorists, and they like to be respectable, I can tell, because I want to get into wacky shit. I want to know crazy stuff, and I want to know the boring nerd stuff so I can try to see where they meet. That's
right.
I'm not respectable at all. I'm a clown. So I don't give a shit if you think I'm respectable or
No,
not.
it's the perfect position to be in, to look at ridiculous ideas, because there's so many ridiculous ideas that turn out to actually be true.
How many jokes have you had? Because I think I have like a lot of jokes that you already had the thing about it. So I'm like, oh, I have to drop that. Because very few people have a similar interest to what I would look at,
Oh,
right?
you and I? Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time.
And what do you call it? Like I forgot what I was going to say. I lost it. Completely lost
But that's
it.
the best way to approach it, because then you're not afraid to be ridiculous. Because the problem
Like
with
comedy.
talking about UFOs or ghosts or anything is like you can look ridiculous. Like if you're a guy who's an accountant and you're working on a big deal for a corporation and you're responsible for a lot of numbers, nobody wants to hear you talk about UFO abductions. That's a retarded thing to talk about.
That's right.
You make people uncomfortable in the office. This is silly.
Right.
No, but that's probably not even real.
You see Mike Benz talking about it recently on
What did he say?
There's no redacted. That guy's great, man. God damn.
He
But-
chimed in on that Sean Ryan thing that I sent you to, Jamie. He chimed in on it on the next page. It was like a multi-page thing that I sent you, Jamie.
Just so everybody
And on the
understands-
second, hold on a second. On the second thing, it was interesting what Mike Benz was saying. That guy, I mean, I'm like, how do you sleep, dude? He's like, not that good. Like, I don't sleep a lot.
Well, it's upsetting you to learn stuff, but you know what's the thing that makes you
Here it
crazy?
is. They were bribing the Afghan Taliban warlords
There
to
you
keep
go.
the drugs flowing. That's what the U.S. Institute of Peace payments were for.
That's exactly right. Because we have a fentanyl problem, and we had our troops guarding poppy fields for pederast warlords. You know about all that, Dancing Boys Afghanistan, and how we would sometimes bring boys to
Yeah.
the Northern Alliance.
United States Institute of Peace funded Taliban and Iraqi leaders. The now canceled USIP contracts included $132,000 for Mohammad Qasim Halimi, Afghanistan's former chief of protocol, and a former Taliban member, and a staggering $1.3 million to the Al-Tadhamon Iraqi League for Youth.
It's like everything named that, you just assume it's something bad, dude.
Well, that's how they like to do it, right? Like, you know, like the Patriot Act. Like that kind of thing. Like you could just say, call it USAID. Give it
It's
a nice
so
name.
insulting. You know,
Yeah.
That's what I find hilarious is like these people can't believe the same tricks that have always worked don't work forever. You know?
Right. Well, they
So-
don't have new tricks. And
Yeah.
it's also with the internet now, when guys like Mike Benz, who spends like 5 hours a day breaking this shit down online, and then it spreads out, and Whitney Webb and all these different people that are like constant, and Jimmy and you, and constantly talking about this stuff. It's very difficult to hide things anymore.
Well, once you realize, because just for being on the road and talking to people, or when I see like Trump introducing it, my good friend Lindsey Graham, whenever I've been with the left, they talk to Lindsey Graham, and a whole crowd boos. So
Yes.
that's because MAGA's not the brainwashed ones. See,
Right.
Democrats, I wouldn't even say some are brainwashed, but mostly you literally get paid to be a Democrat. Like if you're an actor or you're anything, the way you get not paid is not being a Democrat.
Do you see what's going on in France?
What happened now?
So this woman who was the head of the
Marie Le Pen getting
yes.
arrested. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she
they
should have
tried
made
to
a deal with
bu-
Israel like Trump.
What happened with her? What would she lost some sort of a lawsuit, and
Yeah, lawfare. They
And now-
lawfared her out because she's getting popular because they're swarming immigrants. That plan's real. See, that's the thing. It's not just
Yeah.
Democrats. It's NGOs.
but it's also the fact that you can do this with lawfare, not just in America, or attempted to do it in America. You know, I mean, it's essentially the same thing that happened to Trump. I just wonder if it'll have the same type of rebound. I guess she's
They have no
appealing
guns.
it. They have no guns.
They put a giant butt plug in the middle of Paris one time, and they made an article. Everybody was
It's
so
a
crazy.
beautiful piece of art.
They go, why is everybody so afraid of a
Why you-
Godzilla-sized butt plug?
Why are you worried about your anus?
Because
Relax.
I'm not worried about my anus. That wouldn't go in my anus. I want to know who you made that for, and when they're going to be here.
USAID. USAID spent $2 trillion on that butt plug.
Oh my God!
Show me the butt plug, Jamie.
Yeah, please.
The giant French butt plug statue.
When people say degenerate art, and I saw the tweet of it, and I'm like, because it's so like, that is an uncomfortable Nazi connection to me about saying, but there's no other word for making a giant butt plug in the center of your fucking. That's degenerate. There's not a word for that besides degenerate. There just isn't.
There was some crazy violence between. Oh my God!
And then getting mad at the people when they go.
Such an obvious butt plug.
Yo, French people were like, "What?" For the French to say, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Paul
you know how
McCartney.
perverse you are.
Hey, click on that. Paul McCartney beaten up.
McCarthy.
Over
McCarthy.
Oh, McCarthy.
I saw
I
it
hope
too.
it
I had to
didn't.
double check.
Yeah, no, Paul McCarthy.
Is Paul shit? I was hoping that
Oh, look,
Paul
there's another
McCartney was
one.
complaining about it.
Oh, this is his theme.
Oh, he's a butt plug guy. Oh, he's a freak. Can I see a photo of this gentleman? I bet he's a freak.
You know, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Is that him?
I have no idea. No, this is French.
French president. This is wonderful. I love a good butt plug.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember Sam Smith's devil top hat performance at the Grammys that people got mad about? And they go, there was always satanic shit.
Look at this one he made. Is that dude butt fucking a dog? Is that what I'm
They're
seeing?
pigs, I think.
They're
Yo,
pigs?
if you make transgressive art, why would you want the government of France to put it in the town square? Like, the point...
This
like-
guy is butt fucking pigs.
Looks kind of.
Well, that's...
If anything.
What is he making? What is this? So a guy who makes butt fuck statues.
It's called train.
How much did he? It's called train. How much did he get paid to make that butt plug? Find out how much
plenty.
Find out how much that French butt plug cost. Do you think that stuff like that is done?
Here,
to try to-
wait. Here, one experiences fully articulated body parts, right down to the male figure's pursed lips and the pig's heaving chest, all in service of a mesmerizing tableau that redefines sculptural form.
Redefines sculptural form.
It's a guy
Right.
fucking a pig.
Yeah, it redefines sculptural form. It's like the James Lindsay, those fake tapes, those fake papers that they published.
Exactly.
It's almost like the same thing. But how much did this guy get paid for that butt plug? I want to find out. Hey, take a guess. Let's before we do it.
Okay,
Give me a guess.
wait. It's got to be in the millions, obviously.
$2 million.
Is
Let's
it
say
more
$2
or
million.
less than we gave the Taliban by mistake?
Well, we gave him on purpose every month, right?
I'm going to say 50 million because that's the standard Illuminati payment for degenerate art.
Wow. I said 2. I think I'm off. I think it's less than 2.
Yeah.
How much?
I
Jim?
hope.
I'm trying to find out.
And don't forget to convert the francs.
Duh. Do they use euros over there?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a Christmas tree. That's what it was called.
Yeah, it looks like one from a
And
guy
they
who likes
called
butt
it-
fucking.
It says he
Was it-
admitted to it was supposed to be a joke.
You know, it is a
Oh,
joke.
it's a joke, but he got paid for it. What do you think that guy paid? I think it's about 2, but I mean 1.7. I feel like 1.7 million. I need to know, Jamie.
I don't.
I bet it's more because it's got to be some kind of money laundering because why would you do that?
Well, even 1.7 million is money laundering. That's a butt plug. It's worth $30.
But it's so visible. See, like,
It's just so stupid. It's
Like-
so obviously a butt plug. It's like
No,
if
it's a
you had a
Christmas
rubber
tree.
gun and tried to say, no, that's not a gun.
what are you mad?
That's a lighter.
Oh.
Ever seen a lighter like that? That's all
Yeah.
it is. It's a lighter.
Oh, what do you think? There's a war on Christmas?
Yeah. There's a war on Christianity, so I put a butt plug in the middle of town
You
square.
know who loves Christmas, by the way? China. China. When I was there, it was
Sell
Christmas.
a lot of stuff.
They took off with Christmas in China. They love it.
Sure, it's a good time to sell things. It's great
Yeah,
for
they get it.
It's great. Otherwise, like you were not going to spend above your means. We need a few holidays to spend above your means. It's important. Put
Look-
you in credit card debt.
It keeps the magic going.
Yes.
See, our economy is not even a pyramid. It's Wile E. Coyote before he looks down, basically. So as long as we can
So
keep
let's-
you from looking down, you
let's
might.
imagine.
Yeah.
Let's imagine AI becomes sentient and it looks at the society and says, "Listen, I'm not going to kill you all, but we gotta change the way you guys run things. You can't run things anymore. The way what you've done with money and natural resources and all the stuff that you've done has just made the world a worse place, and you're just running towards the bottom."
So it's going to punish the leaders.
Yeah, what it'll basically
more
do
private
is
jets.
like even out everything. Like it'll probably have to eliminate property.
Again, who's programming the now?
It's probably going to assign us a certain amount of things that we can have in our life, and no one can get greedy, and no one can earn more. So there's no reason to get.
And who's making
inspired.
this? You think the person making?
No,
okay.
AI is going to do it for itself.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I know the promise. You know what a golem is? A golem.
Yes.
Okay.
It's made out of clay, right?
Yeah, like a dreidel, but it's
Yeah.
a Frankenstein
Monster.
made of mud. And there's a story of this guy Esoterica, or his channel's good. It's very academic. He's not like conspiracy or anything. He just studies his stuff. But the theme of it is like one rabbi makes a golem and he puts Tav, I can't remember the letters, the name of God on his head, so it's alive, and sends it to another rabbi. And that rabbi, I'm really paraphrasing, but he's like, oh, his golem's a good guy. That must have been a righteous rabbi who made this golem. And then he erases it and it's not alive anymore. And there's more to it, but here's the theme of the story. If you're a righteous person and you do that, the thing of putting on life, then your creation will be righteous, okay? But if you're not, like let's say you pour hate and fear and anger into it, right?
Right.
Or whatever the hell you do, it's going to be a reflection of that. So this AI God, I don't think is being programmed by anyone, by God. It's being programmed by creeps, weird, uncanny valley looking, mutated dick motherfuckers with variation on the Epstein dick. You want to believe in aliens? I want every tech billionaire to whip their dick out, and I want to look at what the fuck their dick looks like, because I'm a dick phrenologist. You know phrenology? I don't think it works, but I'll bet on somebody's
What
dick.
is phrenology? Isn't that like
the
kidney
bumps in your
disease?
skull
Oh.
determine your behavior. So
Is that pH phremology? Is that what it is?
yeah, phrenology with pH, yeah, and I want to, and I think all
Phrenology, phrenology.
where you get your security clearance, they should really analyze, and I'll be glad they should analyze to see if your dick is weird. I feel like you're going to be weird.
You know what's weird about the whole phrenology thing is like we're the smarter ones, right? But the Neanderthals had a bigger brain. So what the fuck happened?
Well, when you told me that, I thought you were exaggerating your Neanderthal DNA. and then when you showed me your hands, because you have the same size hands as me, right?
Yeah, they're pretty
Let's
big. They're basically the same size.
Dude, I'm 6'4".
The freaky thing is the fist size. My fists are crazy.
It's
They're
nuts.
just bizarre. But they were when I was like 15, 16 years old.
I believe you're a
giant
Neanderthal.
fists.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I there's more like people that live in like Nordic countries and Danish countries, like the Northern Europeans. There's a lot of Neanderthal DNA out there.
Oh.
People started fucking each other, and then I guess it was probably, I wonder if it was like Neanderthal males and human females, or human females or human males and Neanderthal females. I wonder like which one made, because like there's certain hybrids that can't breed, you know, and then there's certain ones that can.
Right.
So I wonder how close we were to them where we could breed.
You have to be very
back.
close to breed.
How do they do that?
And not have a mule?
Right. Exactly. Mule. It's
I
a
don't think
perfect
planned.
example. They're
probably,
sterile.
Yeah.
They can't make more mules. You have to make a mule with a horse and a donkey.
Now, I thought Neanderthals died out because they spoke out against an experimental gene therapy posing as a vaccine, and they were destroyed by Cro-Magnon corporations.
I wonder if we're like the upgraded, we're the iPhone 16 of people. You know, and like they probably had a bunch of other ones before.
That's
and they
all
had to try it
that's
that
in
way.
occult shit. The fifth root race and all that bullshit from Madame Blavatsky.
Well, imagine if you're creating a human and you have a bunch of different versions of it. If you're the Anunnaki, you're these 9-foot-tall gods from planet Nibiru, and you come down here, you try 6%. You try 6% with the Neanderthals, and then maybe you try 7% with the Homo sapiens. And we'll see what's the difference.
Well, the lore.
Let's see how it works out.
I'll tell you the lore, as I understand it, is they did all that and all kinds of wild, gross shit.
Right, but just think about the timeline of Neanderthals. So Neanderthals existed unchanged for half a fucking billion years, right? Or 500,000 years. It was like 500,000 years of Neanderthals existing.
Right,
before
and then in
Homo
a very
sapiens.
short burst, all of a sudden the brain.
Right.
I've heard cooking food. There's a lot of ideas of
but
why.
No.
It's
no,
not that.
But Neanderthals had bigger brains, so that doesn't make any sense. So it's even weirder. right?
Dude, beta's better than VHS, but guess who fucking won?
Yeah, but imagine if you're Nibiru people, you're these aliens, and you're like, these motherfuckers aren't learning shit. They're too animalistic.
Right.
They're too close. Like they had much larger eyes. There's some people speculate they had night vision like a dog does. You know how dogs' eyes glow when they see headlights?
Is that the guy that says that the Neanderthals were scary beasts and we
No,
killed them?
that's another one. That's another
Because
guy.
they could see in the dark and we couldn't?
But they think that's probably true. I think they think that based on the size of their eyeballs. Like, have you ever seen the size of Neanderthal skulls compared to humans? The eyeball socket is fucking huge.
You know-
so their eyeballs were bigger, and so why would that be the case? Well, it might be like the case with dogs and deer and all these other animals.
I think that eyeball, and I have zero expertise, but because, the size of the brain doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. It's like how deep
But
and wrinkly, which is how I know I have smart balls. And but the eyes, there's something about big eyes that, to me, that indicates some kind of intelligence thing. Because
Well, they were very intelligent. They
Yeah.
used tools. So we know all this. But the thing is, there's physical intelligence that they had that's probably way superior to ours. Meaning, like, they're way stronger. Their bones were way denser.
Right.
And their tendon strength must have been, like, multiple times what a normal human man is at that size.
Right.
So you're dealing with a physically superior thing that was too primal. So they had to introduce another version, which is slightly less primal, but still kind of fucked up. And that's the one that figured out how to make everything. That's the one that figured out how to do metallurgy. That's the one that figured out industrial enterprise and the combustion engine and
you hear what you're saying?
planes.
Those are
Yeah.
jobs. So here's what I would say. Since human nature is programmability, what they were aiming for
It's
was
something curious.
But I don't want, like, you can even see now.
Curious and ambitious makes new alien life. That's all it takes.
Right.
Curiosity and ambition, and that's what two things that human
So you
beings
might have
have.
to stunt it sometimes in people.
Right.
By dumping shit on. Dude,
It's too late now.
chemtrails, a goofy thing that I thought was absolutely made up. Those are just contrails. No, that's called geoengineering. That's
No,
real.
listen, it's both. This is what's important when it comes to this one. There's a real reality of jet engines getting hot, passing through condensation, making
Sure.
clouds. That's
Yes.
a fact.
Yes.
Regular jets like a Delta Airlines that's filled with people that's not trying to be spraying chemtrails
Yes.
will make clouds behind it, and depending upon the amount of moisture in the air, it'll linger for a long time.
Right.
These streaks across the sky.
That's what I thought it all was, but it's not.
It's not. And this is how you know it's not, because Bill Gates has openly talked about experiments where they use reflective particles and suspend them in the atmosphere to cool off the Earth.
We have a treaty.
But also,
yeah.
that's a crazy fucking idea.
Wait, I told you we have a treaty for weather weapons that was signed in the 70s to agree not to use weather weapons.
Oh, yeah, well, we've been able to cloud seed forever.
Right.
Making it rain, how weather manipulation and geoengineering are fueling global tensions. Well, listen, we talked about it the other day, what they did in Dubai. They fucked up, and they
And then
went
they
too
didn't
hard
want
with the
people
cloud
filming it.
seeding. Well, it was crazy flooding they had, because they're not set up for that kind of rainfall. They're in the fucking desert.
They're like
They
something
didn't
out
have
of Charlie and the
drainage system.
Chocolate Factory, like
Yeah.
the crazy prince makes a chocolate palace. It's like that.
Yes.
Dubai has all the money in the world. And because I have friends that are from Dubai, and like I found out my buddy, she's the coolest chick, I like her. They're so rich that to distinguish yourself from other people, you have to have the lowest license plate number.
Right. Yeah, you want number one.
Because everybody has
Yeah.
all the other crap. So how do you even distinct?
That's Saudi Arabia as well. They do Saudi summers in LA. Have you ever been around for that?
No.
So in Saudi Arabia, summer is so hot that LA summer seems like a bargain.
Yeah.
So these guys, they all buy these beautiful houses in Beverly Hills, and they all drive these crazy Lamborghinis with Saudi plates.
Right.
So they have like some sort of a diplomatic
You
immunity.
can really drive them.
So there's videos of these guys in Beverly Hills before the pandemic racing down local streets, like having drag races in Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Have you seen it?
No.
And one of them fucked his car up. His car's like smoking. He pulls it into the driveway. Everyone's filming. All the neighbors are filming. And then the guy just gets on a plane and gets out of the country. See ya!
Yeah, a whole bunch
And
of
just
Hunter Bidens.
jets before they get caught.
It's
And
like-
they have
yeah.
like some weird diplomatic immunity too.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why they're doing it.
Diplomatic immunity is a trip. Like that's a crazy thing. Like you could just come to the country, just go wild, run stoplights, race down the street in a
Have
Ferrari.
a slave?
You could have a slave, really?
Dude, when I was in New York, this happened like 2 or 3. at least 2 times, but it was always like an Indian diplomat, and they had some Bangladeshi girl that they took her passport, and I remember it was a big controversy because this has to be like almost 20
I'm going
years
to send
ago.
you something, Jamie.
But anyway, there was a bunch of Indian newspapers at the time, 20 years, that were outraged that this woman was even arrested because that diplomatic. Because I don't know if you know, people that come from a lot of money, they think they should have slaves. They genuinely, when they learn Aristotelian philosophy, learn that some people are the controllers and some people are the peasants, and it's for the best. And did you hear that guy at the beginning, Braddock, where he goes, "The few have to be sacrificed for the many"?
Yeah.
That cokehead, allegedly, in my mind, is saying...
Could have just been nervous.
But the way he said that to me sounds like things I would recite from being in church that are drummed in my head.
That's why it was so important that you said that before the pandemic. Like, I see it. I see the same fucking shit. I see the same shit.
So I've already been like, my mother, I still talk. Some people leave and they're Scientology cut-offs. But that wasn't the case with me. Everybody does how they're going to do. But I already went through the thing of like, this is the only thing I've ever known that to be true. And then if I turn my back, then I'm losing like all. So I done that.
Right.
So I don't give a fuck about it ever again.
Right.
I don't care if everybody's mad at me. I don't care if somebody like, if somebody coaches Coleman Hughes to come on and refute a thing I said, who I like that guy, but like I would never do that. I would never, dude, if I'm wrong, you could be sure I'm wrong because I'm wrong and not because I got paid to be wrong.
100%. I back you on that 100%. I got to take a piss so bad.
I know,
so
me too.
Let's do it. We'll come right back. We're back. So where were we? What were we talking about? Do you remember, Jamie?
Yeah.
Something about the world falling apart?
Well, guess what?
AI.
If we go to
Project Sycamore? Dubai?
Oh, yeah, Dubai. Listen, if we go to Iran, because I was going to get rid of this joke to 20-year-olds in the audience that we're bringing back the draft and you're going for sure. And don't try to gay your way out. We're going. Iran, they want that Iran war so bad. And Trump has brought so many snakes to his bosom again, like that Mike Waltz dipshit.
Why do you think they want to do that?
The Greater Israel Project, the thing Wesley Clark talked about back when they mapped out all the countries they wanted knocked out, Libya, Iraq. We've got all of them except Iran, I think. Syria, we got our Al-Qaeda guys in there, so great job, everyone.
Jesus Christ.
People from Syria, if you ever talk to them,
Out of all the things that the government has fucked up, this regime change thing, they fucked that up more than anything. Like, has it ever worked out better for the people that lived there? Think about how many people died during. I know, I understand.
Yeah.
But I think about like trying to sell the same thing over and over and over
it's
again.
insulting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because
Yeah.
every single time it's been a fucking disaster.
Even an idiot could put it like me.
Yeah.
When I remember the day where I was like, it was probably 2015 or 16. I was like, are we still in Iraq? Like it felt like I left the oven on.
And we're hearing the same thing, like weapons of mass destruction. They're this close. They're this close.
Oh, by the way, everyone, if we do go to war, and if you're dumb enough to sign up to go to Iran, just so you know, we can't beat Iran. We haven't won a war in 80 years. I don't know why everybody seems to forget that we don't win these wars. I mean, somebody wins. It ain't you. It ain't you fighting it. That's for goddamn sure. But all of them have So if we go to bomb Iran, Iran has hypersonic missiles that we do not have. So think of how much money.
They do?
Oh, yes.
How do you know what the military has?
Oh, we did a story on it. And I was like this. I'm like, are you shitting me? We don't have the best missiles? No. We were doing things like using
wait a minute.
Ukraine
There's a
as
lot
missiles.
of stuff that the United States always possesses that are top secret. Like there's certain videos that they will not show allegedly of UFOs because then it would reveal the kind of surveillance equipment that they have available and where the surveillance equipment is, including underwater stuff.
Well, the really good stuff I doubt America has. It's the people in charge of America have, but not America. But these missiles, they can't stop them with like Iron Dome kind of shit.
No,
they can't.
They're too fast.
And so
they change direction.
Yeah, Russia has, it's not the same as like a NATO alliance, but they have signed a thing with China and Iran.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so the war with Russia that we're supposed to avoid by this Ukraine thing that's, I guess Zelensky gave the minerals already to UK a long time ago, which is why Boris Johnson sabotaged the peace deal before, I'm guessing, among other crazy reasons. And so if we go bomb Iran, that might bring Russia into his world. Somebody wants World War III real bad.
Jesus Christ, you're freaking me out, Kurt. This is like the green room.
I
at
believe in
night.
God, so I'm like, I can't wait to tell on everybody. Please kill me. I cannot wait to tell God on you. I can't wait. I'm not telling you what God to believe, but I'm just saying.
How bizarre is it that you're kind of right? How bizarre is it that you're right that we're inching closer and closer towards World War III, and that's not what people are concerned about. They're concerned with putting a swastika on a Tesla.
It's because it's called mind control. I bring it up nonstop, actually, to the point of annoying, I would say. MK Monarch was the one in the 90s that probably most of these actors and all these figures that are like, why are there like hotter people in government all of a sudden? They're
I
not
want to
supposed
show
to be
you
hot.
something. Jamie, put that thing I just sent you. These are the same people that are getting paid to go to the Tesla demonstrations.
Yeah. Well,
Same people that get paid to go to the Tesla protest. They do human dog obedience shows like
Right.
this. These are the people.
that Matt Damon crossdresser from the Nuclear Commission that was stealing luggage, he
Yeah,
was
that
one
guy.
of these. I thought it was him, but they put a thing on.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is a crazy conspiracy that I made up, but
Okay.
you know how Disney, you were talking about Disney, they couldn't find the dwarves?
Right.
There's a story about Walt Disney. They wanted Pinocchio to be on a ballot, so he hired little people to be Pinocchios, and he just left some food and wine up there. And it got real hot, and I think they were stuck on the roof, so they just took off their hats, and there were these drunk dwarves yelling cursings at kids at Disneyland. But you know how the employees have to keep their suit on at all times,
Right.
and to the point of it's like some kind of Guantanamo torture.
Right.
So where did furries come from? I think that, and Disney's part of it. Now I'm just pulling this out of my ass, dude. But
I like where you're going with this.
they're
though.
genetically engineering employees who like to be in a fursuit. It's almost erotic to them. They have the minds, even though they're smart, right? And they know math, they love products. Ooh, is this a new lightsaber for... I'm 40, but I'm excited as a child. And I love wearing this suit because that's how I come. And they genetically... Like all the stuff they put in is making these employees for the theme parks. That's what furries are for. People that want to be in that hot, awful suit.
Wow.
I'm just making that up as a joke, but
You might be right. It might be like one of them MK Ultra things.
Well, Disneyland was 100% involved in that. There's no underneath Florida Disney because it's a swamp, but Disneyland, of course, they're patriots. Walt Disney's a patriot. If the intelligence agencies need to do something there and we're doing a thing with kids, of course he's going to be involved in it. You know, he didn't create all that. It's like Bill Burr's joke about Steve Jobs. Like, you just yelled at a nerd to keep soldering to make the iPhone, but they act like, you know, this Ayn Rand bullshit where it's like a great industrialist came up with this. Like, did you just tell people what to do, dickhead? That's important. You need that, but
Right.
you get all the credit. It's all on you. That seems weird, like a feudalism of some kind, doesn't it?
Well, you know, someone was pointing out all the different companies that were actually started by Nazis while people were freaking out about Tesla. And one of them that I didn't know, did you know that Audi used to make camps? Like Google,
Were they,
Google, like
Were they
the
reliable,
Auto
well-made camps?
Union before Audi, the parent company, the original company Audi was Auto Union, and in 2014, I believe it was revealed that they were making camps for the SS in World War II. Like, this is one of the ways they got started, and they made a fucking car for Hitler. They made a race car for Hitler.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ford did that, and
Ford did it?
Yes.
What do you mean? Made it Hitler a car?
He made cars for the Nazis. Well, Rick Overton's dad in World War II, they had some car. They popped it open. It was American. Like, wow, okay, this bullshit.
What? Hold on a second. We'll get to that in a second. Nazi SS divisions built 7 labor camps where more than 3,700 prisoners were put to work for Auto Union. So this was like
Oh, nice.
for Audi. They had people working at factories in the eastern German cities of, say that word. How do you say that word?
Where?
Zwickau?
Zwickau? Zwickau.
No, it's below, Jamie. Right there. Zwickau.
Zwickau?
Pointing out what it's set up there.
And Chemnitz, what were we pointing out? Historical investigation commissioned by the company found that thousands of concentration camp inmates had been forced to work for Auto Union, an automobile manufacturer founded in 1932 and a forerunner to the company of today's Audi AG. That's wild.
Bayer.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, Bayer.
They were R.G. Farben.
Right.
Remember the poisoning of Tylenol back when I was a kid? Someone
Yeah.
was putting cyanide in Tylenol.
Yeah.
That's
and
why
people
we have
are
the
dying.
caps.
Yeah.
Now we have those hard child caps, right? So the guy from Control History has a great video on it, and it might have been sabotage from IB Farben, the makers of Bayer aspirin, because Tylenol was beating them. So
Oh, my
an
God.
act of corporate sabotage on a corporate competitor was a theory he put forward that I think is very believable, considering it's a Nazi company.
There's so many psychopaths out there. I wouldn't put it past people to do something like that. That's a total.
Well, look at our
House of cards.
look at our foreign policy, and then look. Jimmy said, not me, but if they do it to other people, they're going to do it to you. That's why if you're laughing when they grab somebody who wrote an article about Gaza being deported, like, well, she's not from here, get her out. Stupid. You just got done watching the Democrats do this.
Right.
You just got done watching them. And now you're going to go because you don't want to let go of the dream. But the most important thing, if you are MAGA, is to hold to your principles and make it much bigger than Trump himself. The whole mistake is to get hooked on the cult of personality.
Right.
And who do you like? I like them all. I bet they're nice. Who gives a shit who I like? What did they do? And I'm not seeing the results I should see. Not blaming any one person, but a lot of promises made, promises kept to not anyone here, but Israel definitely. Whoever he promised Greenland to, I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think they're trying to make an example of kids to keep people from protesting.
Of course they are.
Okay. Of course. Obviously. I forgot what I was going to say.
They want to make an example, not to.
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh.
I was going somewhere with it, but it's one of the problems with this is people can't see this being used against them.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems. And people only look at it like, oh, this is a hard, fast thing. Hamas is a terrorist group. This lady supported Hamas. But did she? Like, I want to know what she fucking said. Like,
they don't say.
Exactly what she said.
The
there has to
charges-
be a way to read it. Because
They didn't put the charges down. So the first guy, Mahmoud
I'm going to
Khalil?
get to this is what I was going to get to.
Oh.
There's a difference between someone that has an opinion and people that protest organically because they all agree on this opinion versus something that's organized and a lot of people are spending money on and they're organizing it and they're figuring out how to get people there on time and they're giving them food and they're giving them signs and they're giving them with the Musk ones, the Tesla ones. Have you seen the list? Have you seen the list that they give them?
I assumed it was fake. I didn't believe it was organic at all.
What, the list?
The Tesla protest to me is like the Bernie and AOC
Yes.
concerts, fake.
But
paid
someone
shit.
who is there got a copy of like these talking points. And one of the things about the talking points is there was another one. I forget who put that one out, but there were rules of engagement of how, like, if you get in fights, do this, hit people to the body, don't pick up an object unless somebody else does. Like, this is all crazy.
We just did it at BLM.
Right. If you're organizing, like, it's essentially you're condoning a certain amount of violence, which opens the door to violence, which can't be controlled. If you're condoning that and you're paying people to go out and scream and protest for something they're not organically going to scream and protest for, like, that's a different thing than just protesting. When you're paying people to protest, you're basically paying someone to harass a business. You're paying them. They don't necessarily have those opinions. They're dumbass fucking dudes. They're idiots. A lot of these guys that get caught keying cars, they're fucking idiots.
Chant sheet, though, that's not the same thing.
Exactly, but there's a chant sheet. But this guy has several pages in his hands.
Football games, though.
I know, but it's like they give these out so that they can all have the things to sing together.
Your
Democrats draw a
swastikas.
spine. Now's the time to draw the line. So they have all these things set up in advance, which is the point. This is not a small thing, Jamie. This is kind of a big deal that someone would hand these out to people and print them.
But I'm just saying,
and pay them to be there.
That's the point. I looked up paying, and I didn't find any evidence of payments.
Well, people have said that they were offered money to go to these.
I looked all over the place to try to find
I wouldn't need any more
evidence.
evidence than this ad copy. Because if you've ever had ad copy for Sheath underwear, you go, Sheath was unelected and can't fuck it. That's ad copy. You're not doing that for free.
Did you see the video of the people all leaving at noon? They left the protest exactly at noon.
No.
Yeah. Can
I
you
just
find that,
assumed it.
Jamie? But that was one of the things that people said. Well, this is evidence of a coordination. Like these people are being paid for a certain amount of time, and then they leave. But that's not illegal. That's what's crazy. What's really crazy?
That is crazy. You're right.
Is that you can hire someone to go fuck with your business, and it's not illegal. And you can say it's a protest, and you can give them signs.
Going back to everything, they have fake. The ones that are real, the government will come out and crush. So, for example, the guy who wrote "War is a Racket," when the veterans,
Smedley Butler.
Yeah, when the veterans got crushed by what tanks. Tiananmen Square didn't do that, by the way. That's fake. That people think the guy got run over. He didn't. But we did that to veterans of American.
Well, it's not fake. He got pulled aside, but the images of him in front of the tank are real.
But I thought he got run over this whole until I realized it's like the Kyle Rittenhouse crossing state lines. I filled in the rest of the story in my head.
Right.
Oh, he must have brought a gun. No, you're just saying that. It's subconscious programming.
Right.
They study it. That's what a cult is. Is that it's like Bernays advertising techniques.
Right. But there's also people who are very afraid of being criticized and crossing the line where they become the enemy of their side, so that they comply. Holy shit, the moment the clock turns 12 p.m. in Texas, liberal activists left the protest.
You have to be paid to be a Democrat.
There's just people walking around, though.
Well, they're all just leaving that known.
Swastika. I just want to point out.
I get messages like knowing that there's going to be a protest at a certain time, like right now, like in Texas at 5:30 at a certain time. Like, watch out for traffic. There's going to be a protest downtown. People know that it's going to happen.
You could have a legit protest we coordinated. I'm not against that. But the thing where you have your talking points, like a think tank made it.
Someone should do a reality show where you just get professional protesters and ask them about their life, just like those people that believed in QAnon, like that were on HBO. Like those people like follow professional protesters around and get a beat on their life. I mean, professional protesters and professional like rally attendees.
Yeah, well, then you need a community organizer.
We'll be here with this lady saying.
Because as soon as the clock ran out, they were like, yeah, we're going to go home. Bye. That's enough. I think it's ridiculous to rally against an American business that creates American jobs.
Oh, she's pro.
And,
she's
so,
pro.
Okay, I just want to point this out because, I've seen Bill Burr make a great history point to Bill Maher where he's like, shut up, stay in your lane. Sometimes Bill's really on point. This is just him. The thing of the Sig Heil from Elon and this bullshit that Elon really runs things and not Trump. Like, are you all dumb that you would think this? First of all, they've been giving your money to not fake Nazis that drive a Tesla. Real Nazis in Ukraine from World War II have been supported by your dumb Democrat dipshit ass with everyone's money for how long now? People that had real swastikas and tattoos and embarrassingly...
Remember that one guy that went up to accept the award and he had to have a sleeve on one of his arms?
Jon Stewart's friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't want to hear you talk about Nazis ever the fuck again after I watch Canada salute a war criminal Nazi from the Waffen-SS and then watching... I know the ADL said it's okay that one group's not Nazis anymore, but I don't think the ADL is reliable. And I know that sounds really anti-Semitic. But I think they're not reliable. What are you talking about? We support the fuck out of it. We went to the moon because of Nazis. We brought them to America to make our moon program. What are you assholes talking about? Audis, all the companies are Nazi companies.
Volkswagen.
Everybody's they get you focused on some stupid shit. Do you think this autistic man, do you know how easy it is to make that gesture, just gesturing? That's why there's videos, everybody else doing it.
Yeah.
It's the original pledge to the flag, by the way. The Bellamy salute. Remember I texted you that?
That's
the original flag salute of America was a Sig Heil, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
It wasn't until World War II that they changed it to put your hand over your heart. It used to be, see if you can find an image of it, because it's crazy to see that classroom of everybody Sig Heiling. You're like, what?
It's a funny story, too, because, first of all, do you even have a Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? Like, I'm not a military motherfucker.
It used to be God before, what was it, Truman or Eisenhower?
It used to be, I will speak English.
Who removed the God part, or who put the God part in? It was during the 50s,
That's
right?
like at the end.
But wasn't it like, it wasn't until like the 1950s.
Not till later. But the fight at first was look at him Sig Heiling.
Yeah.
The fight at first was if you have to speak English because they had an immigration problem.
Look how crazy that is.
Yeah, there you go.
That's I Pledge of Allegiance.
This would be a good game show. Like, is this Nazi?
But they put God in because of the communist scare. That's when God got into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
It used to be one nation under God, not under God. It's just one nation indivisible with liberty and justice
they
for all.
Didn't say what
and then
God,
they
did
decided to put it under God.
Yeah, Jobulon is the God.
When did they add that, Jamie? What year did they add that? That's a fascinating thing because people are like, this country was founded by Christian values.
No, it was founded by Freemasons, and they are Luciferians, which is not a Satanist. That's not a Satanist. A Satanist is like a Hot Topic thing. A Luciferian, Lucifer embodies the good and the bad. Like your leaders that you make excuses for, not you specifically, but, well, he has to kill those Yemenis. He has to. That's Luciferianism, where, Wolverine, Superman is a punk ass Christian, I guess, the way he's a goody two shoes, but like an anti-hero.
Right.
Hillary Clinton, she was an ambitious woman, had to do what she had to do. So yeah, some people are dead and shut up. That's a conspiracy. That America loves Luciferianism, whether it's de facto. It don't matter whether you think you do. You're doing it. I don't call you a Christian unless you act like one. You know what I mean? Like I would never call myself a Christian, but sometimes I will act Christian, but a lot of times I don't. So I'm not going to claim a thing that I'm not living up to. America's living up to a God. It ain't Bible God. I don't know who the hell people think it is, but how could you even go to the military and be a Christian and learn war no more?
Because you want to protect America from the evil people in the world.
Like from what Jesus said.
Yeah.
Oh, like Jesus said, it's okay if it's to protect America.
Yeah, that's what Jesus said. That was some missing books.
If everybody stops lying, it's all you got to do. You don't have to kill nobody.
Well, listen
Just
to this.
don't lie.
What's more demonic than a robot drone powered by AI that's coming over to fuck people up and makes a decision to kill a certain amount of civilians because it has to get this one bad person?
I'll tell you what, one that grew some organic brain tissue around the chip because they can't get that AI to be alive because it's not, and so they're growing brain tissue. You seen that?
No, but what I was going to get to was what's more demonic is a person doing it.
Yeah.
Instead of an AI that makes his calculation and coldly assesses that it's valuable to kill 30 civilians to get to this one Al-Qaeda guy, what is more demonic might be a person. Because one of the things that's fucked up about it is the people that are actually doing it are just following orders. So there's a person who can make a decision. So there's a person that can make a decision that you're going to launch Hellfire missiles into an apartment building. But the person who makes the decision isn't actually pressing the button. So he might feel a little bit removed from the crime. But the person who is forced to operate the drone, they say these guys have to study them for days sometimes. And they watch their patterns, they see them play with their kids, and then they get that green light. And then they get the order. It's time to do it. And then they have to fucking press a button and launch missiles and watch that guy get eliminated from thousands of miles away.
Well, you know how we know 90% innocent people got killed? I remember I was telling you that because the drone operators, it bothered them.
Yeah.
And the drone operator, I don't even remember the guy's name. I feel bad, but that guy's in prison for revealing the truth about the criminals that run your government.
There's a guy in prison for revealing the truth about drone strikes?
We did 3 years ago. The guy's speech about, I watch people.
Find out who that guy is.
The drone operators that got put away under that act. Trump's abusing it now.
How's he abusing it now?
Obama loved to abuse it.
How's he abusing it now for that?
That's what they're grabbing these people with no charges and kicking them out because they supported Hamas. That's under the not sedition, the Espionage Act. They're doing shit like that.
So talking about the drone bombings is an espionage thing? Is that what it is?
It's top secret.
Is that, oh.
We killed all those people. We're worse than terrorists. We're worse. 90% civilians? That's not collateral. That's who you killed. The collateral will be if you hit a fucking terrorist.
Right. Right.
That's real. That happened.
Yeah.
And a guy's in prison for telling us. That's Obama, the one that, the ones that Bill, I guess, thinks there's not Nazis. Even though, boy, you should kill like Nazis, don't they? Again, Bill's right about a lot of things, but that is just such like a, dude, you don't know what, just look, like.
There's a lot more to the story.
You're focusing on the sports
narrative. Yeah, there's a narrative that gets out there, and then people have opinions on the narrative, but it's so nuanced. The story behind it, like when people, there's a lot of people that want to talk about whatever the conflict is, whether it's Ukraine or Israel and Palestine. Like, if you want to become an expert on Israel and Palestine, you need a lot of fucking time, man. You need a lot of time and a long, long, long history that you have to follow.
Daniel Hale, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's an American whistleblower, former National Security Agency's intelligence analyst who sent classified information about drone warfare to the press. Hale served the United States military, United States Air Force, 2009, 2013. Okay, pled guilty to retaining, transmitting national defense information, sentenced to 45 months in prison. Incarcerated, United States Penitentiary. He was released on July 5th, 2024, right after Independence Day. Ain't that a bitch? Didn't even get a beer on 4th of July.
Meanwhile, they're not going to investigate Haktua. I got to put this Trump shirt back on.
He's out there right now, this guy?
I don't know. I
what? Wonder if he's allowed to do podcasts.
Well, the guy who
Are you allowed to do podcasts when you get out of jail?
Yeah, John Kiriakou does them. He's from.
Like a guy like that probably doesn't want to talk. I mean, that's what got him in jail in the first place.
Well, right.
If he talks about it now, isn't that the same thing? Isn't he doing it all over again?
Well, now that it's out, I think it don't matter, right?
I don't know, but this is the question. Like, if
sure
you
they're
get
fucking with them.
if you get tried and you go to jail for something, and what you did was tell the truth about crimes, the last thing you want to do is talk more about those crimes, right? I would think.
Yeah, well, what's Julian Assange doing now? Is he talking?
I don't know. I mean, is he completely free? Like,
There's
what
no
is
way.
his current
He owes
state?
money for them transporting him. They charge him like $1 million. It's so despicable, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Look, I don't know. I know people want to believe and they're dumb, but why? Why do you believe it when you get? It's like if you're being cheated on and you're like, no, he would. Dottie Sandusky. That should be the national bird of America. Jerry Sandusky's wife, who thinks nothing happened to this day.
Does she really?
Yeah, she just Dottie stays upstairs and Jerry helps those boys in the basement get freedom.
Jesus Christ.
That's America. And then people you tell the truth to, the thing that makes you crazy is not knowing the truth. It's when you tell people and they either don't want to know it or they go, I just want to keep my head down and do my job, which friends of mine that are not dumb, smart people say. Right. Yeah, that's the American spirit. I want to keep my head down and do my job. I can't wait to Sig Heil the flag now. Oh, how inspiring.
There's a lot of people
it's
that
changing.
think like
it's
that.
changing.
A lot of people think like that once they have a mortgage and kids. They really do. They think, I just don't want to rock the boat.
I understand
I'm
that.
barely staying above water right now as it is.
What if you're rich? You want your kids to see that you're not going to knuckle under
Let me tell
because
you
you have
something. What
money?
happens to rich people? They get scared they're not going to be rich anymore.
Yeah.
And they want to keep the party rolling.
Yeah. No, I know.
I'm serious. That's what happens. You feel that fear. There's this fear. It's the same thing that it always pops up. It's famine mentality. It's the same reason why people want all the attention.
Right.
People want, they want everything. They want to be number one. It's the same thing. It's famine.
Well, those buttons you're talking about, you think they didn't study these extensively to figure out exactly which ones to press to get what reaction? Hey, we need people to pretend that Tesla, he was unelected. You don't elect the guy that does that, dipshits, unelected. Is that a good point?
Right.
You get appointed. Just like how
they did
Kamala was unelected?
Well, they did it during the Obama administration. They did it during the Clinton administration. Like, government efficiency programs are not new. It's not a new thing. And the thing is, I understand that he's polarizing because of a lot of things, unfortunately, that he did. There's a lot, but there's a lot about what he's uncovering that's important for you to know that your money's being wasted. And that's not a partisan thing, and it shouldn't be.
And you should know that the savings are not going to, if you're worried.
But you should also know that this fucking protest against him is probably funded. It's too organized. It's too often. It's too regular. There's people that are involved. There are chants that they hand out. Someone's paying money for this stuff. Whether they're paying those people or not, I think they are. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
You know the soda people,
but the
right?
Point is, like, it's organized. It's not natural.
We just saw them. This is amazing. We did this story. I sent it to you because the soda, I don't know, Ameribev or whatever it's called.
Right.
So they got MAGA people, and I've seen these people apologizing up and down, a bunch of them, because they got, maybe they did it willingly or not. Willingly, but duped or not. They were like, it's an embarrassment because, like I said, to the credit of MAGA people, not that I don't vote. I would have if Trump did anything that I thought he would. They go, oh, they're trying to control how people use their SNAP, like their welfare, to buy soda. They're like, don't say they can't buy soda because RFK's, soda's poison.
American Heart Association fought it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's adorable. American Heart Association fought poison.
Have
They're
some
like,
heart.
No, come on.
So, but do you remember when these same stupid fucking conservatives were mad that they were spending their welfare on lobster? Remember that? They're buying lobster with welfare.
What are you talking about?
You never heard of this?
No.
This old? Well, Reagan did it first with the welfare fat queen that gets in her Cadillac and buys lobster with your welfare.
What? Really?
Oh, he was the best, that guy. Then, the greatest president. And then after that, I would hear this come up. This a few years ago. There's something about wealth. It's always like, oh yeah, that's where we're losing all our money on the welfare. We are not for this country though. Just so you know.
Well, the idea, I think, of the SNAP thing is to encourage lobster and
But now-
steak. Food stamp myth refuses
So do you know
to
why
die.
they're doing it?
1976 campaign speech. In Chicago, they found a woman who holds the record, he told the assembled crowd. She used 80 names, 30 addresses, 15 telephone numbers to collect food stamps, Social Security, veterans benefits for 4 non-existent deceased veteran husbands, as well as welfare. Her tax-free income alone has been running $150,000 a year. Sounds like this lady's pretty cool. Reagan's
Sounds like
story
Doge.
turned out to be a gross gross exaggeration of a minor case of welfare fraud. Well, I don't know who to believe, because I want to believe that she pulled this off, because I think it's kind of badass. If you're going to duck the welfare system, doing it with 80 different people is kind of fucking hilarious. In 1976, 150K in 1976. What do you think that is today, in today's money?
He combined her with a CIA op, I'm sure.
How much is that in today's money, Jamie? Let's guess. $150,000. I say that's $2.7 million.
I think you're right. And I think I could put on a transgender play in Guatemala with that money.
Get you fund Sesame Street.
But so that's the conservative.
Can you find out what that is?
840K or so.
That's it? Oh, I thought it would be millions.
So
we've been lied to about inflation.
Wait, so the soda people.
It's only worth $853, but that's if you just left it in the bank, I guess, and never did anything with it.
Oh, interesting. That's kind of crazy.
Wait, so the soda people, so they're mad that welfare people are getting things. Now, this fake thing that they try to filter through MAGA is, don't tell people that they can't spend their money on what they want. Well, it's welfare money. Well, can they buy lobster again? Asshole. They're paying, and they go, Trump likes Diet Coke. And they gave him a list, just like that list you showed me, of emotional buttons to try to push. And people did believe in Maha. Okay, now, in fairness to RFK,
people still do.
Well, he learned there's a bigger threat to American health, which is anti-Semitism. Not the fluoride. That fluoride thing, which I didn't believe, it turns out is real.
Utah just banned fluoride.
Did they?
Yep, they just banned fluoride.
They just banned sexual ritual abuse, too.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Did they really?
Yeah, because...
You had to ban that? That's not already illegal?
You would think.
I thought that's...
Dude,
I
the
thought
lawyer...
that's in the law.
That story is crazy, because his DA... So some creep... There's a lot of like
But let's get on the fluoride thing for a second before we scatter. Huberman had a great episode of his podcast with this woman who's a doctor who discussed the impact of fluoride rather. Florida. maybe that explains
There's
Florida.
Florida in the water.
Maybe that explains Florida and fluoride are pretty fucking close. That might be it. That might be it. We might have stumbled onto something.
Waste from I don't know.
Well, it's just fucking crazy. But the thing is that it's a known neurotoxin, and there's no reason for it to be in the fucking water. And yet there's still people that are saying it should be in the water. There's these crazy fucking impacts dental health of impoverished people, and shut the fuck up.
Well, check where their money comes from.
Meanwhile, these are the same people. I mean, this is like the whole fucking sugar and sweets thing. Why do you think they're getting so many cavities? Why is anybody getting so many cavities?
That's right.
Because we're eating some shit you're not supposed to be eating.
So when we were doing the story, and they're talking about, and I go, what do they make all their money off poor people spending welfare on soda? Because my girlfriend, when she saw it, she goes, who still drinks soda? Oh, people on welfare. So most of their budget, just like if your budget came from running a prison full of convicts,
right?
The people are from people spending their SNAP benefits on soda that kills them, and they don't want to lose that income. It's like
they also have
billions.
They recognize the influence that these companies that sell this stuff have on these different commissions that decide what gets. Like the American Heart Association gets funded by some of these companies, which
you
is
just got to buy it. That's why they. So
is that true? Make sure that's true, because I read that the American Heart Association receives funding from like soda companies and.
If a 3-letter agency of any kind, is there any of them that aren't bought out by some fucking psychopath?
They have to. They make little deals. They do things. They donate. They rub shoulders.
Oh, that's
how
why everything's working out good.
Business.
That's why everything's so good, because they have to do that.
If you want to be in the country club,
I do.
You gotta play the game, Kurt. You can't
golf.
You can't keep rocking the boat. Stop rocking the boat,
No,
Kurt.
a blind eye will serve you better. You were kind.
Is it true? Before we wrap this up, is it true what I just said?
The article that popped up says I'm trying to see it more accurate. That this was in 2010 to 16. They did receive funding from them, but that's when the article was written.
Of course they did. Of course they received funding from them. Everybody's receiving funding from somebody. Everybody's slipping someone a little. Hey, get in the door. Give Bobby 100. You're in.
This article from 2016 says they.
Coke, Pepsi provide sponsorship money to American ACC, AHA, and 93 other health organizations.
Well, why would that affect it?
American College of Cardiology gets money from a fucking company that makes heart attack drinks. American Heart Association, American Diabetes. American Diabetes Association gets money from Coke.
Yeah, from
Pepsi.
From diabetes in a can. I mean, what a joke.
Coca-Cola Company sponsored 95 national health organizations, while PepsiCo sponsored 13. The end of 2015, the ACC, Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, American Academy of Pediatrics, and American Academy of Family Physicians did not renew their contracts with Coca-Cola. So they realized, like, this is out of control.
They realized they couldn't get away with renewing their contracts.
Outrageous.
Anymore.
We're getting in trouble.
It's healthy as long as you flap your arms 1,000 times a minute like a hummingbird.
You just need 10,000 steps. Put a Fitbit on.
Yeah,
Start
I just
walking.
drink and have a nice Coke.
Yes, you're going to be fine. Kurt Metzger, I love you to death.
Yeah,
Thank you
dude.
very much for being here. It's always
Thanks,
fun.
man.
This is like you and I in the green room all over again. Like, how
I
many of
only
these
moved down here
conversations have
because
we
of
had?
that. I only moved down here. You had to have club. I like Austin, but until the club was here, I wouldn't move.
It's the best.
I need the store, the cellar to hang out.
We need it. We need it. Yeah, and I'm glad you're around, brother.
You too,
Means
man.
a
Thank
lot.
you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure. All right, bye, everybody.